Howdy folks, welcome to Mosaic Team 5, our Starfinder campaign. I am Joe Treff, your game master this evening, and joining me are my friends Matt, Dan, Kara, Olive, and Ari. Ari is just very sad right now. I don't remember did I change the names or no? I forgot. So I'll have to add Spice in during the break.
Add Echo in during the break.
Oh, is it Echo?
Hi.
Echo's there.
It's all good.
Echo is over
You're
there.
here in spirit
Exactly.
as well as physically.
So we're going to play Starfinder tonight in just a moment. It was because you ran late, Kara. That's why. But we're going to play Starfinder in just a moment. A couple of quick announcements. First of all, there are a couple ways you can support the channel. Thank you very much to everybody who has been subscribing. That's really helpful in terms of having some kind of reliable amount of money that offsets some of the costs for things like the website, which is already in and of itself like a $200 a year kind of hosting fee. So super helpful. Thank you so much for that. Bits and channel points, other ways that you can support. Channel points are things that you accumulate for free just by watching. You can use those to shape the Junk Falls Will Always Be Junk storyline, which is certainly coming to a head at the end of this month. You can also support us with bits. Bits are Twitch's microcurrency that you can use real money to buy. They directly support us. They're really, really helpful, and they can support and change the story in very direct ways. However, at the moment, many of the Mosaic-related options are unavailable, as this group has been bad.
We're dumb. We're dumb and we suck.
We're on probation.
We have @AlberonRPG for all of our Instagram, social media account kind of things. AlberonRPG.com has all information about this campaign. It has cool logos for many of the factions. It has information about many of the previous bounties, as well as this setting. And then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we're going to be playing Courts of Everest, Session 11. And that is taking place directly after a pretty intense combat under the ocean in the dark.
Under the ocean?
Yeah. Oh, it was real. It was such a cool battle map, too. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And
Yeah, we
everyone
almost
made
died.
smart decisions.
Everybody made great decisions.
And
And
nobody died.
And no one died.
Nobody
Yours
almost
are
killed
playing
each
a
other.
different game.
I'm
She's
not
got like tile
playing a
pieces.
And then finally, for sound effects, like the music that you can hear, this pleasant 8-bit music, or no, we talked about this, it's 64 entire bits. But all of these bits together, this music is from Sirenscape, a digital tool set that you can use to add sound and music into your life. You can do little things like this. You could do things like a big splash. You could do things like an explosion. All kinds of things for you. It was a tiny explosion.
For my tiny
Bigger
bit
one for you.
to get that hype train going. Wait, is
So
that-
all those things and more on Sirenscape.
Yeah.
And with that,
Hype it
we
up.
can jump into our
Hype it up,
recap.
baby.
Let me go ahead and play out this music and
we
start
start
with
with the
our
hype train?
theme song.
I don't know if we started the hype train
I
or
don't know
not.
how we would know if we did.
I don't know what that is.
I
It's
don't
like when
know
enough
either.
people do things to support
So
us.
the hype train is close. What do I do?
Usually tells you
It
I don't
is
see
coming.
it.
Hype train is
It
gonna
is
be here. I
inevitable.
can't miss
No,
this
one
train.
more person.
It's like Thanos.
I think the hype train is not the station.
Mosaic Team 5, last we played. Gibbs, Blue Stealth, dropping you all into combat with a costly toot. Echo and Shade, you broke Socrates out. Echo with an effortless lockpick that was very quickly not replicated across the rest of the session.
So effortless.
Socrates demanded that you
really
retrieve his raincoat, which contained access codes for GPF Outpost Perdido. With the cell block in total darkness, combat broke out. Echo attempted to pick locks before switching to combat and fighting their way back towards the rest of the party. Shade, you secured Socrates' yellow raincoat along with some other items before fighting your way back. Spice provided support by sowing chaos amongst the prisoners and providing movement boosts to her allies, also creating a fake jailbreak that resulted in most of the prisoners dying. Gibbs provided as much healing as they could, but
One.
her mean, lean green bean can glowing in the dark. As the repeated sonic attacks of the prison guards and robotic rioter drones began to create cracks in your bottle, Gibbs, you were forced to fight more defensively and opted to try to free Ranklin instead. Bubs, you did your best to show off to Spice and the freshly released Mari, though the total darkness of the cell block kind of unclear as to how effective that was. But a prison break now initiated, most of the combat dying down. Bubs, you now sliding next to Mari and Spice, who are embracing on the ground, even as the last of the GPF guards die. That is where we begin this evening. Give me 1 second here. All right. So for all of you, as we return into this story, we are in the dark, down here deep beneath the ground, in the third sub-level, the max security wing of the GPF prison, below a military base. You've all tunneled in here. You took a little bit of time getting through. You have broken out several of these prisoners, but you do have Socrates and Ranklin with you.
I have touched Ranklin, so he knows what's going on.
Yeah, you gave him that 10-minute burst of information all into his day.
So he knows about the biggest hurdle we're gonna have getting out of this place is that, like, of Gibbs' concern is how slow Socrates is, and this 10-minute timer we have.
Yeah, and you can see to that effect, Ranklin, this Yosoki, kind of a little bit smaller than you, actually. He's like very, very small in terms of his stature, but he scurries over and he begins to like yank bodies over and create sort of a pile to help people get back up into the vents. But he seems to be preparing for that. Socrates finishes making his way over. For the rest of you, what are you doing?
Bubs is gonna just like, after he does like the head nod, and like hair flip, though he doesn't have hair.
Yeah.
I'm Bubs.
Well, Spice is with Mari, like, crying and laughing and with her arms around her going, Mari, it's been so long! What happened? How did you end up in here?
And so you can see, like, it's hard to see, actually, for you. It's totally dark here. But you can feel first Mari's hands, like, pushing against your shoulders, almost trying to escape. But as she hears her voice and it kind of registers, that, like, stiffness fades a little bit, and you feel the hands touch your face. And her hands are a little bit rougher than you remember, and there is certainly, like, metallic elements, and you can feel, in the same way that you can feel when there is something powerfully magnetic that gets near you, you feel that field. There is certainly something augmented within her hands. And you see, actually, as she kind of does that, there are these huge gloves, and so she's kind of like touching them, and it's just cold metal against her skin.
What? Did
But
you
in
get
the-
some work done?
In the darkness, you can just hear, Spice.
Yeah, it's me. I'm back.
From over in the darkness, you can hear huffing bad, like just out of shape, but almost over to the rest of the vents, Socrates, who just says, whatever you're doing, it can wait. We must go. And he like turns, he closes the last 5 feet, and you watch as Ranklin gets down on all fours, and Socrates begins to climb over Ranklin,
Wait,
over
Socrates,
these bodies.
wait. And I'm gonna offer to him my Heelys, because since we're Yosokis and we're going through like a half vent, like, we still have to be sort of small, but if he's on...
He broke his leg in the first
Oh,
place.
did he break his leg?
He
Is he
fell
the...
down
Oh,
the
fuck, he does
stairs.
have a broken leg. Fuck.
Yes.
So these aren't helpful.
You give him his Heelys, and he's just like, that's
Could-
rude.
Could I go over to the GPF bodies and loot them?
Yeah, so go ahead and make a, this is a, I can't remember if it's perception or investigation. Okay, perception. They don't have
While
investigation.
all of this is happening, I would like to get the newly hacked robot into a follow and protect mode to help us escape. And ooh.
With a 23. And so you kind of revert back, your eyes semi-shut. Behind your eye patch, things begin to whir very, very quickly as you connect to this robot and you begin to learn a little bit more about it.
Cool.
So take a look at that.
I also would like to set up the breaching charges at the entrance that was over here
Okay.
to block off, like to have it collapse. If I want to take like just a check to see if there's like any commotion, like if we've been found out essentially.
Okay.
Because we did the silent alarms, but
You
we've
run
made a good
over in
amount
that
of noise at
direction,
this
or you
point.
go over in that direction, getting ready to do that. Bubs, as you bend down, what was your check?
23, I think it was. I forget what it was. I think it was 23.
A 23. With a 23, you can find. Where is it here? They are carrying something called a dirge pistol. And you can see this is dark, sleek, black, Drowan design, certainly. And like looking at it and handling it, you remember seeing this fire. This is something that deals sonic damage, and you would imagine has some kind of sickening effect on a critical hit. You also find a very, very finely crafted knife. This is something that was issued probably not by the GPF because it seems a little bit more ornate. This is a locust blade harmonic. And so this is something that you can tell based on the mechanisms around the handle that connect to the blade. It's designed to vibrate at intense frequencies and probably deal sonic damage as well as some other things. But it's similar to one that you've seen before. One that was last held by Jimmy 12 Toes.
Oh.
That fucking
I
bastard.
thought he
In
had power
addition-
gauntlets.
He had power gauntlets as well.
Yeah, that's what I want too.
He has a lot of weapons.
I want power gauntlets so me and him can go mano a mano.
Jimmy 12 Toes is like one of my favorite
I hate
enemies,
him
and
so much.
I
Oh my
made
God, I
yeah.
hate him so much.
Why?
He's so cool.
You know why?
So you also find an altitude bead, and this is something that you can sync up with your communicator, and placing it somewhere it'll tell you can like drop it down a hole, and it will tell you the distance.
Yeah.
You also note this individual is wearing Enforcer armor, level 1. It would be difficult to remove, and it is kind of integrated into elements of the
Is it
equipment that they
heavy
have.
armor or light armor?
It is heavy armor. And you note that on this pistol there is a nanofiber grip, and that is what you find.
I'm gonna try. First, I'm gonna. If I see Echo nearby,
You don't see really much of anything.
okay, I'm just gonna pop
There's
the
black.
knife for later.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to take the Enforcer armor.
Okay, so you imagine it will take you about 5 minutes to get off.
Ooh.
This is, heavy armor that is integrated and woven into an underlayer that then is designed to protect the body from the actual
I'll try my
armor.
best to get it off. I mean, I know Shade's going to do whatever
Okay.
he's doing,
No
so if I get it
problem.
off, I get it off.
For me to do.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do to heal Socrates to make him faster? Can I make like
Make a
I have-
medicine check.
I have like tools too as well.
Yeah.
but-
Make a medicine
okay.
check. This is kind of about you appraising the situation.
14 plus 9 is.
Pretty die though.
Thank you.
23.
Thank you. I feed you pizza. You feed me math. 23.
23.
Yeah.
With a 23, you get close and you hold out your mean, lean green bean can. And as the faint glow from your magic spreads out, you look at him. And first of all, his leg, it is no longer broken, but you can see the way that it is healed since it has been. It has this bow to it that looks very painful when he walks. So much so that you can almost sense like the bone bend a little bit each time that he does. After being broken, this was not set correctly. And so definitely healing, it requires being broken again to heal. This is a longer term fix.
Okay.
In terms of trying to like get him to go faster, there are certainly drugs that will do that at the expense of damage later. And you also don't have any of those.
I mean, I think about the cocaine I have, and I'm like,
Oh, that's. I mean.
You do have cocaine.
but I don't really
Don't
want
we
to feed
also
this
have
guy
an
cocaine.
enhancer thing from Donut?
I think Gibbs used that right away after for the tunnel.
That was the
sickness.
Hulk thing, right?
No, that was a gift
Oh.
from Bess.
Oh, right.
Different.
Yeah, that I used. I
You
don't
have
know.
a cure wounds kind of deal.
Oh,
Okay.
right. The portable,
Yes, that's
portable
it.
Derma
meds-
stapler?
Well, we also
the
have
med
those.
station, the portable
You
med
do
bay.
have a portable med station.
No, but
a
that's-
portable surgical suite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is
that's
you probably don't want to use it for something like this.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
edge
That's
of
like,
death.
right.
got
This
a
is like I got a
boo-boo,
med
like-
pad.
yeah, it's like,
and a med kit,
I've
but
got
I
a
don't know.
boo-boo. Let's take you to the ER.
Right. So okay. Then I'll wait. Is anyone else? Are you in? here?
Very.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I'm at
we
the other
are-
end of the room.
Oh.
and
Echo.
It's dark out.
then I wait.
You are at the end of the room, furthest away. You can see in this like very dim light now that like shade is over and presumably using a light source to set up the breaching charges.
I've
You can
got
see maybe like
exceptional vision.
well, it's black in here. So again, unless you're using a light source, you are doing this completely in the dark.
No, we have vision completely in the dark at grayscale.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I thought it was just in dim.
Nope, it's
Oh,
in
okay.
dark.
There you go.
It's
So in grayscale.
complete darkness.
In grayscale, no problem. You can see. And so you begin to set up the breaching charges. Echo, that's like 30 feet away from you. And between, there's like the security station. There's many of these open, like locker kind of situations.
we got all the stuff in the lockers.
I believe
think,
so,
Right?
yeah.
So we'll send. I gotta get a list.
Is there anything that you're doing?
of that stuff?
Is Echo near anyone at the moment?
No.
Echo's gonna go and like, who looks like they're doing something that needs help. Like it's hard to tell what people
Armor
are doing.
boy is trying to
Yeah,
armor
you can
off.
see if you look down the hallway, you can see Bubs has his hammer like leaning up against the wall, and he's just like prying
glow from
elements
his-
away.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Where's
cool,
the
cool.
buckle?
Echo like,
Oh, it's Velcro.
I apologize. Operating on low power mode has made me a little disoriented. Do you require assistance?
Oh yeah. Here, hold this, and I'm gonna give her the knife that I just found.
Okay. That is a locust blade harmonic.
Yeah.
Do you require further assistance?
Yeah.
Stab the wall.
Can you like get this off? And I'm like gonna hold it up.
Okay. So no problem. If you want to add Enforcer Armor 1 with Echo's help, that is what the two of you do over the next minute and a half or so. As Shade, you set up these breaching charges.
Have I heard anything like upstairs? Does it seem
Make a
like
perception
anyone's
check.
coming down? Because I don't want to use the breach charge if we can just get away without anyone finding out. 23.
With a 23, you listen and you you put all power to sensors. And as you listen and kind of sense everything, you don't hear anybody coming. You also think about what time it is. It's right about 1:40 at this point, and so probably there's no shift change due for about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of time to escape. Once they do find out what's happened here, looking around, there are like dead people all over the place. This is probably going to provoke some kind of reaction.
Yeah.
But at this moment, it doesn't seem as if you're being directly followed.
And how much time until Echo's bombs go off?
At this moment, 20 minutes.
20 minutes. You can still get those. All right. That makes, it's going to be a close one.
No, it's
but-
gonna be close. I don't think it's gonna happen.
We'll see. We'll see.
Because
And with that, as you have those set up, it takes you guys about 2 minutes to do that. Pretty easy to do. But in that time, certainly Socrates begins to get kind of impatient. And so from up in the vents, now him and Ranklin both up there, they're going to turn back. And from down there, Socrates is going to yell, "We must go."
Once Shade and Spice are within 30 feet of me, I'm gonna spend a resolve point to heal everybody.
what's the range on the
Let's go,
breach
Marty.
charge?
It's not really like a range. It's not
I mean,
designed
a
to.
range of detonation.
Relatively short. I believe it's
Yeah.
50 feet.
Okay.
Without,
23.
changing
Without-
things.
23.
23.
Can I
Help
attempt to
points.
change it?
Nice. Huh?
Can I attempt to change it so that I can trigger it when we're further away?
Yeah,
from
do you have a
the
remote
escape?
detonator or anything like that?
You have those timers, those egg timers still.
I would imagine you guys have at least 2 or 3 of those egg timers on you.
I
Can I
think
set-
one of
so
them
if
has
you
a
wanna-
chicken, one of them-
That would, I would
One of
say,
them
you
looks like
can
an actual
hear
egg.
Socrates telling you guys, you got to go. That's a project. Even if it's a very simple project, that will take a little time, like probably 5 minutes.
23 hit points of healing
23.
as
Okay,
I
cool.
Spice.
champagne spray my bottle at you.
Nice. I guess I won't do that then. I will just set them off regular times when I get as far away as I
Okay.
can reasonably to set them off still.
No problem. You can get right
Once
to the
everyone
end of the
is-
cell block. So if you want to wait for everybody to go up, then you
Yeah.
could set it off and
And
go.
set it up. Yeah.
Let's go, 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 go. We don't have much time.
Have all the prisoners gone through? Because I feel like the dude thought that he was still in there, right? That he was still locked in.
Do we have Melvin
So when
died?
he ran out, he got wrecked. You saw him die. You saw the bathysphere gentleman.
Yeah.
You didn't see him
die.
dead, but you imagine as he has been pressed up against the wall in the standing position, kind of leaning for the past 7 or 8 minutes without moving. He's probably not doing great. There was a elf that you had seen who is no longer present. No idea where he has gone. And then you have Ranklin and Socrates and Mari.
Right. Okay. Don't care about all the other ones. Low priority. Continuing on.
I'm gonna go near the door where he's doing that. Real quick, I'm gonna just put some ion tape on the 2 doors.
Of course.
The locked one, shock them, and then I'm gonna wait before people go up in the vents. Can 2 people pass over each other in the vents, or is it just one person?
No, definitely one person.
Okay,
It's
then
tight.
Bubs is going to stop people and try to let people know, hey, me and Shade should go first so we can shuttle people back up and down.
I don't know. I can squeeze because I'm a street rat.
So something to think about. You're going to have to boost people up those solitary vents.
Yeah,
That's about 10 feet.
Through the fence.
And actually, Socrates and Ranklin have already gotten up there in the time that it's
Oh,
taken
yeah, but
you
they're
guys
just
to
okay.
do
I got that
this.
between now.
Yes.
But the bodies that they piled up, right?
Yes.
So how much of that is at 5 feet now that you can just
Yeah,
okay,
easy enough.
Okay.
So that obstacle already overcome. The next thing that you need to do is boost people 15 feet up through a spinning fan.
Yeah.
Then you have to crawl 500 feet to the tunnels before the 10 minutes elapses that would cause you all to burn to death.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, given all of that,
Yes.
I have this new robot, and it says that it is immune to a bunch of effects, and it has a purple shield, purple force field.
Yep.
Can I use that to jam the fan,
Can you use the robot?
the robot to
yeah,
like
absolutely. You
try to,
imagine
like
you imagine you can
use
certainly
its
try.
shield to, like,
I mean,
stop
that's
it?
not how the shield really works. So what you're asking really is, can you use the robot basically as a
like
doorstop?
stick.
Yeah.
A stick in the bike.
And you could definitely
tire.
try. I mean, thinking about it, the fan, though it is powerful, it doesn't go terribly fast when it starts up. And so as long as you're catching it near the beginning of the cycle, you could probably jam it in.
Okay, cool.
If you get it too late, it's going to cut this thing
But
in
there's
half.
also a chance that when we get there, it's not even running.
Also
right?
true.
Can
Okay,
I
so-
help by
Cool.
can I soil the gear so they like start to gunk up? Can I keep casting this spell to keep like making it dirtier and
Well,
dirtier
before-
and dirtier?
We have to get there first.
So you're going to, yeah, I mean, you could certainly try.
Guys, I have
We're
an
moving.
idea.
Oh yeah.
So Spice is like starting to squeeze through the vent and head towards it. She's like, guys, what if we actually didn't go back the way we came and we actually went through the rest of the prison but through the vents? Is that a crazy idea?
Yes.
Doesn't
Why?
connect.
The heating system will go off whilst we are still in the vents.
Yeah, but we're not gonna get burned up like we could if we go through the fan.
No, but there's no vent from what I understood when we looked like in the ceiling.
This
above
is
the
a
people.
separate
At this,
system.
Ranklin's going to turn around too, and he's going to say, look, you haven't been here before, and I have. We're as close to being out as we could possibly get. If we go up, we're further into the base. So thank you, but no thank you. We've got a plan. And he just continues to like scurry
Wait,
along.
wait,
this-
what's your
this-
plan? What's your plan? And I squint at that, and I want to make an insight check. This guy seems kind of like a dick. Is he just upset about his circumstances, or is he upset with us?
Make an insight check.
Thank you.
Or sense motive check, sorry. Different game.
Does it seem like anyone needs help? Well, actually, I'm just getting to the fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm making my
problem.
way to the fan, making sure everyone can get there. The robot is with... Is it having trouble getting with us?
As long as you continue to like ping it to follow you, it's gonna follow you.
I'm gonna have
20.
it follow us.
Problem.
For insight.
With a 20, as you watch his butt like scurrying around the corner and just goes towards the fan, what are you trying to discern?
I guess really I'm trying to discern so I asked him point blank what his plan was, and also is he trustworthy? So really, it's
Really hard to tell with
Okay.
that role if he's trustworthy. I would say you get the sense that he definitely has a plan.
okay.
It's not that he's not. Again, you guys are in a rush,
Right.
and you've already taken several minutes now to loot this body, to set up some breaching charges. That it doesn't seem as if you're really using that much.
Oh, I was gonna... I
yeah,
set
yeah,
them
but
off
like
again.
it's not like they're. This is all time that could have been spent just leaving, and so probably more about just trying to beat this timer than just trying to keep you out of the plan. But hard to tell. So the two of them scurry around and begin to head towards the fan. Are all of you following?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
This is the marching order right here.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
fantastic.
You can put
I mean,
yourself.
Gibbs-
I just
Gibbs doesn't matter
scooted
'cause you
people
can
around.
squeeze
Yeah, I
through,
can
so
squeeze
if
through,
you-
so-
if you're fine.
And the Yosoki, for what it's worth, the Yosoki can all move up and down the order because they're small.
Yeah.
So they can kind of like scurry between legs, around shoulders. But you begin to move, you get up into this thing one by one, you guys climbing the bodies that have not really been pried, the armor pried from their bodies. Getting into this vent, the warmth from the last blast of heat is still dying down. And so as you reach the fan, you can see it is slowly just as if beginning to like cycle down a little bit. It is still going to be a matter of timing to get through, certainly. However, it is not going fast. It's slower than the last time that you guys dropped through. A lot faster for some of you.
So it's slowing down.
Yes.
Okay.
However, as you are in this fan room, Socrates begins to look around, and then looking at all of you, he's going to say, does one of you have a communicator?
Yeah, here. I
Goes-
handed my cracked communicator.
Takes your cracked communicator, and he instantly just pops the screen off, and he begins to like move around, like rewire things. And you've seen people do this before. This isn't like crazy out of the ordinary for you. But what is that you see the screen just die. And then all of a sudden it loads back up, and all of a sudden, can everybody make a we'll call this a reflex save.
Oh god.
What?
I think
Is
I
this
know what's
also?
Fuck.
Oh, is this to be knocked prone? I have a thing.
25.
Oh man, okay. Could you
Natural
roll another
20.
one for Mari, please?
Natural 20 for
Very
me,
nice.
and then
Nice.
for the robot.
No, that counts for your robot too. That's
Oh,
a success for them.
Cool. Okay.
Is this a 20? Mari rolled a natural 8.
Okay.
I also rolled a natural 8 for an 11.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
Math. 28.
Okay. Everybody but and for Mari this sucks. Everybody but Mari and Gibbs succeed on this. And so in this moment, as he presses this button and the screen dies, there is an almost imperceptible shift in the magnetic sphere around all of you, and this ripples out. And all of a sudden, any little elements of light that were in the back room just die. The communicators on your the communicator that he's holding, as well as Mari's like gloves, they just power down, and you watch as Mari goes unconscious.
Oh, shit.
You can see Socrates
Spicy
looks down and he just goes, "That is unfortunate, but the furnace is off. We must go." And he begins to like scurry a little bit further.
Spice is like, baby, wake up, wake up.
He like kind of like sort of tosses the communicator towards you in the space, a little awkward for him with his broken leg, but he has to like almost roll back over and then begins to scurry forward.
Bubs is
Is
gonna
she
help
still
Spice throw some
alive?
water on her face
Is
or
Mari
something.
still alive?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
breathing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the robot pick up the body and try to take it.
Well,
It's
if we're in
between
an
me.
event, we're
You
just
can't.
kind of
Oh,
pushing her
right.
dead
Yeah.
ass in
Oh,
front
yeah.
of us.
I imagine me and Spice are carrying her.
Well,
So it's more
pushing
like
her.
it's more like given your marching order, it is
Like, I
Spice
just am pushing
who
her
is like
ass.
shoving Mari forward, and you can kind of like take your foot and like dig it into Mari's shoulder
Yeah.
and kind of pull her forward.
Perhaps
Mari's
Gibbs
gonna
should
wake
go
up.
in front of Mari.
I was gonna make a quick medicine check. That was a weird reaction. Is it because she's like android or
Make a
like what's
medicine
up?
check.
Yeah. Is there a quick way I can solve it? Natural 20!
With a natural 20, you scurry over to Mari as she goes unconscious. Everybody begins to like crawl forward as best they can, and as Spice like shoves Mari along,
I just breathe on her face.
you turn around, you breathe on her face. Anybody that was watching, if they could see in the dark, would see like green smog roll into Mari. But what really catches your attention is the fact that you can see very, very small along the elements of her like scalp and along the hairline. You can see it's shaved on one side relatively recently, and probably because you can see like suturing that has been done. There are implants that have been done, maybe cybernetic, but these are heavily intertwined into her brain. You look at these gloves that she wears, and now kind of like pulling the sleeves up every now and then, Mari like shifting forward on in the floor as Spice shoves her ahead. Right as you guys get to the vent that you now need to try to pass through 15 feet to get through, you recognize these lines disappear into the gloves, and these gloves probably keeping whatever other augmentation she has in a passive state. More like handcuffs in a way than...
Wait. So the gloves are not like power gloves. They're like almost like shackles?
Yes, very much like shackles.
okay.
And so in this way, they're keeping whatever ability she has locked up in the same way that they might if they were to take your bottle away from you.
Oof. It's technology. And I kind of nod real quick, like as the body's moving, I'm just sort of on for the ride, making Bubs really carry both of our weights. Is there like a button from the outside or like something like how does it engineer so it locks?
So in the dark, in this vent,
I got my green- I got
that
my-
would
Gibbs, what are you doing?
I'm trying. These shackles
your
are.
progress begins to slow a little bit as Gibbs
This isn't the
turns and
time.
begins to do
We can
this.
take the shackles off her later.
Well, but she's okay, but she's unconscious.
No, get them off now.
How do I? How?
Are you just gonna chew on it?
Yeah, I can chew on it.
Make a mysticism check.
Yeah.
You begin to just gnaw on these.
Natural 20!
my God.
This is making up for the shit weeks I've had.
Yeah, you literally threw that.
Oh, these are the off-brand ones. They snap right off.
So you look at these gloves, and at first it's really difficult, and you begin to panic a little bit. People start telling you, "Gibbs, we gotta go," and your mind goes blank. And in the Ahsoki brainstem, really at the core where there are all the vital bodily functions, you know that when things get rough, you just gotta chew your way through. And so you begin to just gnaw on it. Your tooth chips a little bit as you do. They grow back. It's okay. But as you like chew on this, you recognize first this is certainly not going to work. Chewing on these dense metal gloves, it isn't really going to work. But Socrates had just set off some kind of an EMP or something that disabled this, so the electronic component is already gone. If you had something like a hammer that could crush this, or a way to make it really cold and then really hot, there's a lot of ways that you could break these off. But probably when you're no longer in this vent.
Yeah.
And to that point, Socrates is now kind of standing with Ranklin helping him stand, and they're looking up, and you can see.
Bubbles,
this
let me stand
sail.
on your shoulders
It's
so we can
still
hoist these
moving?
people up.
Even after the EMP.
I have a jetpack.
Yeah, so this is just momentum
duh.
carrying
And
it,
it's also
probably like before, even before it was
it's
just slowing.
powered off, but it's still moving.
Yes. This fan blade, each blade is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 to 300 pounds. It's a big fan, but it's not moving quickly. It's just kind of carried by its momentum.
Giving the structural integrity of this robot with the force field, and kind of imagining, putting your hand into a slowing down ceiling fan. Is it gonna chop its hand off, or will it?
The hand, make an engineering check.
Echo's ankle twitches a little bit, remembering going through the fan.
Oh yeah.
Dirty 30.
Dirty 30. You look at this and the hand, yeah, that'll come right off. This is really, if you're trying to do this in the way that you're trying, you're gonna probably just need to wedge the robot like a stick into this.
I
And
don't wanna
it's
do
like the
that.
torso thickness that
It
you
has
really need.
better value as a.
You imagine so.
Shade, I could just break it.
I didn't say anything.
I know, just looking
But
at
we're all looking at
Yeah,
it.
well, I'm like
you
right
know?
behind you.
Oh.
Well, I'm looking at
you.
Mari.
Yeah, I'm watching you do this.
I'm just looking up.
Socrates is going to turn to your group at this point and say, I have done this part of the plan. How do we get up?
I have a jetpack. I can just hoist everyone up.
He puts he's like this huge macroencephaly head,
Yeah.
this very old looking Yosoki, really sweaty, and he just like a baby, just like to be picked up.
Okay.
All right, you first. Go.
Are we just shuttling people? The two
Yeah,
of
that's
us?
what that was the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Well, the fan's still going.
Oh,
Time it right.
Is that the work? Yeah.
as I token spell it, trying to just gunk up the gears.
I have a
With their
This is a
natural
good
20
use.
for your mysticism check, what I will say is you spit, and just one after another, you're listening to Gibbs. Like the first couple spits, real gross sounding, but then you begin to hear Gibbs's like spit getting kind
It's
of
like
dry.
all the phlegmy, like, oh.
It's bile, baby.
It's not great. And so Gibbs, you are going to get this. You and then you just get this tickle in the back of your throat, like when you irritate it just too much, and you throw up. And as you do, it right into the gears and the circuitry,
There it
and
is.
there is some
Talon gave us a
element
whoa.
that does, where all of a
I knew
sudden
it.
this blade begins to slow and then begin to go right back the same speed. Alan has given us a while, but.
I gotta
briefly,
throw up on something.
Briefly, as you wipe the vomit away from your Yosoki mouth, it did work.
Was it enough to get Socrates past?
No,
the
and
blade.
so if you would like, go ahead and make a reflex saving throw as you want to dive through this.
Before you do it, can I use the gravity gun to try and shoot it in the opposite direction to, like,
You
kinda
certainly
slow
could.
it down?
Absolutely.
Noggin, yeah,
What
with
I would
that.
say is, if you're going to do that, make a reflex saving throw and take a +6 conditional modifier to that. As Shade just standing there and timing it, you pull the blade, and as it goes, it's like whoop, 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 and it has like that brief moment where you're able to go a little faster.
16 and then what? So reflex?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 16 plus the 6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the
I-
+6, you're fine.
Plus also another 6.
So no problem. You time it, and when you see Shade's finger begin to depress, you take off in a burst, and you lug Socrates up and
Yeah.
just land in the slightly wider vents up here.
Okay.
No problem. You're fine. Who's next?
I guess
you-
Ranklin.
I'll stay down and keep shooting.
Well,
Okay,
how
yeah.
about I shoot and you shuttle people?
All right.
She'll take the gravity gun
Hand the
and then
gravity gun.
start timing it.
I'm
Right.
gonna yell down. Can you bring 2 Yusokis at once at least?
Can I bring 2 Isokis at
Well,
once?
one's already
It
up.
will make the DC higher,
No,
but
so-
you certainly can.
Yeah.
I've got good reflex.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I got crap reflex.
So you grab Gibbs, you grab Ranklin, and as you have both Yosoki now, kind of like you're holding two
We don't
children.
have to though, because the furnace is off. We're not in a rush.
It's up to you. I mean, it's up to
I
you
mean, but
guys.
I like the idea.
We're still
People
in a
are
rush.
coming.
We're still in a
Bubbles,
rush.
grab someone!
Right,
Take
so
Mari.
being
Charge
held a
has
little bit
gone
less
off at this point,
enthusiastic in this process. What?
The breaching charge has closed off that area at this point, right?
So you set that off?
Yeah, I set it off whenever I got to the range at which I would have had to.
Okay. So you set off the breaching charges, and when you do, you can hear that boom it's not a huge explosion. It's a shape charge that is directed to do a very specific task, and so it's not overtly loud. You can't see what it does, but it has gone off.
I'm gonna wiggle my eyebrows at Ranklin over Shade's torso.
This is demeaning. You go ahead and make a reflex saving throw.
And you doing the gravity gun?
Yep.
All right.
Take your +6 conditional modifier.
Natural 20! These fucking dice.
Yeah, look at us.
That's
You lift off, no problem, straight through. You actually go before Spice has a chance to fire. You time it perfectly, and it's like this moment where you're doing your calculations where you're like, I have to go, and you just take off.
Nice.
You clear easily, no problem. Gibbs, as you do this, is a moment you're like looking up at Shade, like flying, rocketing you through the air.
So
And
dreamy.
then with that natural 20, as you
who did you
crest the
take?
top and you like drop
one did you-
Gibbs and Ranklin down into this vent, you look down and you can see straight down the shaft where this the mechanisms that power this are kept. There is a place where the mechanics and the machinery are a little bit blackened, and you can tell something very recently, probably wet and probably gross, has gotten into this device and almost charred this before something kicked it over and allowed it to continue to move.
Oh, so I can just disconnect again?
You would imagine dumping some kind of liquid down here to add to Gibbs's vomit would short the rest of this. Yeah.
I just have my
Nothing's
canteen.
body.
Do you have any liquid?
Oh yeah, here.
I also give the
You got real dry mouth now.
Damn.
So
Pour the canteen out.
Yeah, all the liquid empties out into it, and very, very quickly you watch as the slight level of Gibbs's bile rises in this small space, and as it crests over some exposed elements of like machinery, it seems like that is just enough on the ground, like this 2-inch level of it, to cause the little elements to begin to grind down, and the fan begins to move much slower. With that natural 20, between the two of you, you can move everybody up without issue.
Nice,
We're just
guys.
jumping down.
and the robot. And the
Down,
robot.
down,
Yeah.
All right, we saved a few
robot
seconds
too.
there, team.
So you get up into these vents, and now you know
gravity
the only thing between you and this Yosoki tunnel is 500 feet.
Yeah.
And so one by one, if you want, you can crawl out.
Spice is going to pull out the cocaine and just
We're almost there. Time for some coke.
well, she like looks at it and she's like, I kind of want to know what this is like. And she licks her pinky, dips it in, and does it.
Okay.
Echoes
Wow.
behind, just like Spice Nut.
This is where we're going for
Now's
this.
not the
Babe,
time.
what are you doing?
Literally
Make a wisdom
curiosity.
saving
even
throw.
see?
Sorry,
I mean, I probably smell it more
I
than
imagine
anything.
we're walking. We're not on the
Echo
fence.
can.
Yeah, this is a will saving throw. Sorry.
I
Okay.
definitely saw. I'm at the
See, now this is one of those rolls where I don't know if you want to fail it or you want to succeed it.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I thought we were
Okay,
carrying Mari.
well,
now
I
you're just
got
doing
a
some
9.
coke.
already starting
Okay.
early.
Fantastic. So Spice, your speed increases by 10.
Nice.
Oh, sick!
Any dexterity based skill or saving throw that you need to take is going to be at a -4 conditional modifier.
Okay.
Your coordination very off, but you're fast.
Okay.
And that's all that really matters. And so as you dip your finger into this and you kind of lick it, there is, so it's like the sugary consistency. It is not cocaine. It's very, very similar.
Angel dust?
No. This is like, we're talking sci fantasy,
It's
Yeah.
cotton candy, y'all.
Yeah.
Devil
It's
dust.
future cocaine.
Seeing Gibbs, seeing Spice, I imagine we were carrying Mari together.
Cocaine.
I guess I'm just.
I don't know, we're
thinking-
in a vent. I'm imagining
No, we're
like
out
a
of the
single
vent now.
vial.
So we're in a different
You're in
vent.
it's
okay.
wider, same height,
Okay.
but just wider. And so you guys could just be like lugging her, almost like you have to like when you're carrying a child somewhere, you just lift them up over like a puddle or something.
Yeah, okay. So we're like
Kinda
standing now.
Not standing, you can crouch.
Okay.
So in the space, however, you do drugs in this. This is the best time to do it. You are faster. You are a little bit more clumsy.
Keep up! Let's go! We don't have much time!
Your blood feels warm in your veins, and everything feels
I feel
pretty
so alive.
good. Yeah, it's good. So no problem. You do drugs.
We are going to die.
You
Hey.
begin to crawl.
Socrates, Ranklin, you guys are almost out and almost home. This is pretty cool, right?
Rankin, like just concentrating on shuffling, turns back and just goes, I really do appreciate it. I hope you know that.
Oh,
And he
thanks.
begins to like shuffle back forwards and he turns out. And one of the things that he said is, one of the things that he had previously. No, I don't think he did. No, never mind. Never
All
mind. He continues to crawl.
Plans.
You make your way the first 150 feet, 200 feet, and before too long, you begin to note the temperature cooling pretty drastically. And now you're seeing little elements of dirt from where you had all tracked it in. Before finally you round this corner and you can see the area where this perfectly cut circle of this sprinkler head that Donut had rigged to a laser to breach this area is. And beyond that, you can see all manner of Yosoki. You can see Donut. You can see...
Donut, my favorite! Hi! We're back!
You can see Kinkashi. You can see everybody who's gathered up, waiting for all of you. And as Socrates is like kind of lugged out there, and they're able to see Ranklin, there is a huge cheer that goes up.
We need medical attention for Mari immediately.
And then immediately you could say Tuesday just goes, oh, okay, Doc. And this older Yosoki just comes like going out. You can see like the eyes folded over, like you can't really see eyeballs, just like fur that has gone up, and there's just white fur around already. This kind of like albino white fur, it's getting longer, almost like they have a Yosogi beard. But they come over and they begin to like examine Socrates.
I mind Link so that the guy Doc knows everything about the medical everything.
Okay, so you touch him and instantly he just goes it's 10 minutes of information to his ancient mind just instantly, and then you just hear this and there's like a little from his ears as he just absorbs all that. And he just 50 goes, cc stop. Give me some warning next time.
My bad, sorry. I've never done that
and
to somebody like you
limps
before.
over and just kind of begins. And yeah, he goes over to Socrates and he just like begins to examine him. You can see also like Ranklin, a little bit better shape than the rest of the prisoners. But he's like up and about and like clasps arms with Tuesday, who seems very pleased to see him. But all in all, there's this moment of like elatement. People are excited. And then like as Doc lets go of Ranklin's hand, or sorry, there's so many Yosoki. As Donut lets go of Ranklin's hand, Donut says, we need to clear this place now. We must blow. And he, like a bunch of the other Yosoki are like, yeah. They begin to like pick up all the tools and they begin to start clearing this tunnel. And you can already see TNT being trucked in. They're going to demolish this tunnel and bury any trace of the Yosoki being connected to this scheme. Hopefully. So what are all of you doing? You can make your way out. You can kind of join this group that is now like making their way up and into the warren.
So I believe Ari did tell the other Yosoki, I believe Tuesday, that the Yosoki compound was going to be raided at some point today. Right?
I believe they told you guys that.
No, we
Or somebody
knew that.
somebody told you
that.
guys that.
You told me and I told Rita.
Who told
Yeah.
you? No.
No, we
It
learned it from
was,
spies.
we had heard from the bathroom
Gotcha.
Yeah.
thing
In the casino.
in the casino.
And you had told
He's
us,
like,
and I
we're
had
going
told
to plan
Rita.
B.
Yeah.
Everything, like, we need the parade to go off without a hitch because
Yeah.
we have big plans, and then he killed that guy.
So, what's the plan here? How long until we have until the parade?
So you guys are all beginning to walk. Hang on, let me change the music.
Yeah, what's
here a
going on with the
little
bombs also?
You guys stopping
How
the
much
bombs?
time do we have?
bit. You would have 7 minutes if you want to stop the bombs from going off in some way.
Do we want to stop the bombs? Because they're going off before the parade, and I think we wanted to time them with the parade or something.
I don't think we wanted them to
We
go off
didn't
at all.
want them to go
Yeah.
off.
I think it was more like, oh,
Echo
things are
planted-
going bad up here. This is our backup to like
Echo
cause
planted
some...
the bombs to basically draw their attention and to weed out people away from our target.
Right. But won't it?
I don't think you can. Can you make it even 7 minutes?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
could.
Or can you make it and disable them? That's
Echo
the
is
question.
like the
Echo could
Flash.
Detonate.
potentially just collect them and take them off site.
Yeah, like fucking Iron Giant it. Just
Yeah.
The
pick 'em
Iron
all
Giant
up
died
and-
in the end.
Well,
No.
but you can, fly him out.
Wait,
and
so
then
wait, but the
fly
goal
him
is,
back.
are we taking them out? Are we doing that? Are we just letting them go off like randomly?
Are you saying this as you guys are all walking up?
Yeah, I'm like,
Okay.
what are we doing?
Yeah, I
about?
imagine
So
Rock and
Doc
stuff
is
picked
like
up.
supporting Socrates. Tuesday is helping from the other side, and Socrates is going to look up and say, "What bombs?"
Well,
I have planted bombs at various locations of interest to the...
Sorry,
GPF.
Thank you.
it's been 2 weeks.
Are any near here?
No, we
There
did like
are some
ledge.
that are...
The closest one is
we did it out of watch, away from Watch Row. So it's-
Warmonger
Kilroy's
Industries, I think,
Canteen.
is I think the
I
closest.
think we did one at legs.
Yeah, we did one legs for
Yes,
sure.
you did.
I thought it was
Oh, so I guess legs is the closest
Legs,
then.
and then
Okay.
no, we're all.
There are
north.
charges placed
Right.
at Oasis Casino,
but it's still the
Warmonger
closest.
Industries, Harbinger Robotics, and Kilroy's Canteen.
From down behind all of you, you can just hear Ranklin snicker, and you just hear him go, nice. But for Socrates, he nods and he says, let them go off.
Alright, cool.
No matter what you do now, the GPF will be angry. And
Yeah.
it's better to create confusion. You all need to rest. And at this point, this is where Donut says, Socrates, we said we would help them if they help you. And Socrates nods and he says, I think we can all help each other. But rest. We'll talk tomorrow, and we have things to do.
Can we rest here? It's a long walk to our ship.
Donut says, of course you can rest. You help.
Yes.
You are Ruby-eyed now.
Ah, and you are scab rats now.
Do we
And
get some red
and I
eyes?
stick my hand
You
out.
can see Donut just goes, no, thank you.
Why is
That
it called
is
Ruby
gross.
Eye?
Because they're ruby-eyed.
Yeah, you see like
Yeah.
there's one.
Because they're all vinyl.
They're like the.
Every single one of them turns over, and you just see red eyes, red eyes, red eyes, red eyes, white fur, white fur, white fur, kind of gray fur on dog.
Sometimes you
I
see
really hope that
raccoons
Spice
eating a
asked
trash
that like
can,
in
and you turn your
person.
light,
Just
torchlight on.
And they all just go.
Ruby eyes.
And
I was
Ranklin,
hoping that there was gems involved. Sorry.
and Ranklin actually from behind you just goes, we just really like Ruby's love. And
Yeah, that makes sense to
there's
me.
a couple, like a chuckle that goes around, and
Bubs is going to hear about the resting. Well, how can we rest? Didn't Rita tell you about how Gibbs said something about the raid on the compound?
there will be a raid, I'm sure. But I think we can give them something to think about, and perhaps stall that for a little bit.
It's only like not even 2 a.m. The
It's
raid.
just about to be 2 a.m. That's when the
Yeah.
bombs go off.
Right, and then the parade's not until like 7 a.m. or 9.
I believe it's 9 a.m. is
Yeah,
when it's
that-
starting. And so you would imagine shift changes at 7. The parade starts at 9. You would
We do
imagine.
not want to give them an opportunity to discover the charges before they go off.
Well, they're gonna go off in any minute, and I'm really tired. Can someone carry me to my bed? I'm so tired. My bottle is empty, and I look at it, and I want to inspect my bottle now that I'm in light.
You can see everybody's looking at Donut. And he just goes, ugh. Fine. And he like reaches down, and if you grab his hand, he just like hoists you up and just drops you over his shoulder. He's the biggest of the Ahsoka.
Nice.
But
Thought it would have been one of our party, but I'm cool. I'm good. I'm content.
so yeah, carrying like a backpack, the rest of you make your way over. Socrates says, one of you had just said something.
About the raid. I said something about the raid.
Yeah.
About the bombs.
Oh, Doc, can you take Mari's gloves off? They're like shackles. The electricity is off, but like I think it needs like a hammer or something. But don't hammer her hands. So we still want her to have hands.
What's wrong with her?
You can see there are
I
two
explained.
Yusoki that are helping carry Mari. Mari is like laying down on 2 skateboards that have been laying down next to each other, and they're kind of like wheeling her across. She's like bumping over the dirty floors. But Doc looks down. He's pretty close to them already, and he just goes, I could take a look. I'm sure I could figure something out.
I believe in you.
Spice is gonna follow wherever they take Mari.
Yeah, no
She's
problem.
Gonna go.
You guys are all going to the same place. You've been here before. This is like the belly of this whole place. It's a huge communal living area. There are beds. There are like little places dug into the dirt and the earth itself where like beds have been inserted, or like little nooks and crannies.
Was
All
this
kinds of
what you were
things.
trying to remember with Socrates, the Mari thing?
No,
Something else?
no,
Okay.
something else.
Is it important?
It's something I remembered, and you guys don't know it yet.
Okay.
I was trying to make sure I don't give too much away.
No. Go ahead. Yeah.
So you all make your way into this main living space. Mari is brought over to like this old like, it was probably like a bright green couch at some point. Now it's fading closer to like yellow. There's like dirt mushed into it, but they like throw a blanket over it and just like set Mari down very gently. And Doc begins to like look at the gloves. He calls Donut over, and the two of them work together to start this process. At a certain point, Doc would say, these are very advanced, but we can get them off. It will take some time.
I believe in you, Doc.
Donut says, do not believe in Doc. Believe in me.
I believe
These
in
are
you,
mechanical.
Donut.
And he goes and he just like taps it, and you can hear this odd clang. But Socrates is going to turn to all of you and go, you must rest if you intend to do so. We must get started as early as possible.
I make myself at home, find a couch, and
Yeah,
I just curl up
no
and
problem.
snooze.
Socrates calls Ranklin over, and you can hear, like, off in the distance, everything in here is within 200 feet. Everything, like, rises up, and so there are little porches and decks and walkways, and this is, like, the ultimate pillow fort. That also incorporates elements of like wood and construction. There are TVs. You can hear like some people are playing music off in the corner. There are many conversations happening, but you can hear Ranklin and Socrates as they begin to plan. They pull stuff up. They begin to talk about starships, screens, anti-aircraft fire, vectors of attack. They begin to talk about sandstorms and weather and all kinds of things. But is there anything that you wish to do before you go to sleep? Yes.
Spice is not going to rest.
Okay.
I mean, you are on cocaine.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's good.
That's a life choice.
Yeah. So instead, she's going to, strap up her Kasatha arms, go like this to make sure they still work, and the fingers match up with her fingers, and
Sure.
she pulls her hat up and then puts her scarf over her face again, or her mask over her face again, and she's gonna leave the compound.
Okay, no problem.
I was also gonna try to leave the compound.
There's a point where Kankashi's
The
like
robot.
looking around for
Oh,
you.
she's gonna
and-
take Kinkashi with her.
So if you find him,
Uh-huh.
he is like looking for you in the hallways. You can see he's at a place where somebody is built out of old space cola cans. The sculpture of like a jumping fish leaping out of what looks like a little pond, and all the elements of the pond have been made out of like little old, but look like some kind of like old currency, perhaps. But as he's like looking at that, he makes eye contact with you, and he just goes, "Oh, Spice, I was looking for you."
She does this with two hands.
Okay. And he just kind of walks over. What's up?
Let's take a walk. Let's get some air.
But we're gonna stay in the compound, right?
Do you think we need to stay in the compound?
I mean, yeah. Did you just hear that? And it's 2:01. Some explosions just went off, and in the distance, if you have good hearing, you probably heard them.
Fine. Alright, fine, she'll rest.
You can do laps around the
So, like, within the walls, there is like a whole interior, like, courtyard, and there is like garbage and junk piles and all that kind of stuff. So there is space that you could like walk around outside if that's what you're trying to do. And as you like, if you are going up to the top, you can see there is certainly that sandstorm that started is getting heavier. This is one of the heavier sandstorms that you've seen.
So is it low visibility right now?
Certainly.
dope, guys. We killed it.
But I'm just gonna try to find Spice too, because
Okay.
I think I would send a message to everyone saying, "Oh, well, no, because the ship's far away. Never mind."
Does my communicator work, by the way?
The screen is dead. However, as you like click around on it and you listen, if you like do the accessibility options and you go to like, sight
Safe
limited
boot.
mode, you can hear it, and it just, as you like turn the dial, it goes contacts, web, like, and you know it works.
Email.
And so probably, yeah, you could like, you could,
she lost all her contacts. Rose Lash went in now.
no, it's
Natty
just
is gone.
the screen is broken.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I can deal with that.
easy to fix.
Yeah.
Gibbs' communicator is no longer stealthy.
I would like to take all the equipment that we got from the lockers, hand them to the robot, and go to the engineering bay that I had worked in before.
It's your Skyrim follower.
Going to
Until I
the
take it apart.
engineering bay, you would see like there, depending on like, so how late are you staying up? Because
Well, I don't need a ton of sleep because construct.
Mhm.
So like, what I'd need to get a rest, but
which is how long?
I think it's I don't know.
Short rest is 10 minutes if you use a resolve point.
How you need a full rest to get the resolve points back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
she
full
also
day, right?
healed us. I don't know. She healed up almost
Yeah.
all
It
I'll
has to
take
do
a
with
yeah. I
resolve.
guess I'll
Yeah,
take
but
a.
I'm getting fucked
Yeah.
up.
I'll take a
And
short
also, there
rest.
is a certain point where if you're not sleeping, you
Yeah.
start to get exhausted.
Yeah,
and that has
it's
that has heavy penalties in Starfinder.
That's the thing. They receive a +2 against saving throws against it. So I guess I have a bonus to saving throws against the sleep.
You move at half speed. You
The
can't
sleep
run. You
effect,
can't
though,
charge.
that's like
lots
if
of-
I cast a spell Deep Slumber.
Yeah.
That's saving throws against like unwilled sleep.
Yeah, there's nothing for androids that like they need less sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then I guess I'll do the normal shut off time after I've
Okay.
basically just inspected all the equipment that we got.
Okay.
That was me, Gibbs.
Problem. So you take like an hour to do that, and you're getting pretty tired. I mean, this was a intense combat.
Yeah, I'm just chain smoking the whole time.
Okay, no problem. You chain smoke for a little bit, and after like probably an hour or so, Donut enters carrying one of those big gauntlets that was on Mari. But he sets it down and he looks at you and he goes, "Do you mind?"
Like take all this stuff and
Ugh. And he looks, and you can see he takes out like a little kerchief, and he goes around to like the area around where you were smoking. And this is as much as this has been like really accumulated stuff. When you came in here last, it was spotless. Like there was no dust anywhere. As much as like things are kind of scattered around, this is a very clean place, and it's kept that way for probably a reason. And so Donut like gets back, and he's just, you can hear him like begin to like mutter under his breath, and he cleans the stuff
Donut's
off.
the Venn diagram of Bubs and Gibbs.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
didn't even like realize. I'm just like,
Yeah, but he no problem. He goes back and he begins to like work on this glove, and he's seeing if he can do anything with it. But as he does, he turns and he just says, "Hey, do you have ship?
yes.
Big or small?"
It's like mechanically speaking,
I believe it's a
Small. It's probably small.
medium. No, small would be like
think
the
it's a-
shuttle finder.
I think it's a large size ship.
Yeah.
Large size. Okay.
I think
So
the sheet's up there. But
he looks at you as you're pretty tired, so you're just kind of looking at him for a second, like, "Wait, what?"
Medium.
And in that moment,
Yeah, got it.
in that moment, he just goes, "Is this like Starfinder or capital ship or what?"
freight vessel? I don't know what classification would it be.
It's an explorer, but no problem.
But like, what size
I believe it's a
classification?
wanderer,
It's a
actually.
need. Yeah.
An everlasting wanderer.
The Everlasting Wanderer, I believe, is your guy's name.
Yeah.
But no problem. He turns and he just kind of shakes his head and he goes, "Ugh, if you have ship that is small enough, we can land it in a place close to this governor, and would be easy. No fighting from the bottom.
We do have a small shuttlecraft.
Tomorrow, talk to Socrates." And he just goes back to working on this glove. For those of you who do, is anybody doing anything else before we mark
Gather
off
my
this
stuff
race?
and leave to find a place to. power
Echo
off.
probably would have found like a little corner and is just like gingerly touching the connection between their ankle and their foot just to like inspect it and see how it looks and if there's any possible way this could be repaired or healed at any point in time.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly can repair or heal this. It's just one of those things that, like, you need to, part of you sleeping and resting is the repair of this. So as you are like, most of your systems are asleep and inactive, it's really just like this kind of slow passive heal in ways mimicking organics. So there's no like special thing. Your foot is not severed. That is a separate thing. And that would be unfortunate. No. Being fully severed is real bad.
That's what I thought had happened.
No.
I was under the impression we were
That's
just
when you're
holding my
holding-
foot.
It's not in good shape, and like you could very easily remove it with like your own arm. Just pull it real hard. But as you like you have time to like set it, and certainly with the Yosoki around, and if you were to request some help, no problem. It's not like a mortal wound.
Yeah, that Echo probably is maybe not secretly, but just kind of out of the way, sat down and is like trying to like as best as they can reconnect any wires that are loose and like try to
I feel like I would
set it.
come out with the pile of stuff and see you just like trying to fix your foot.
Yeah, no worries. So Shade, before you go to sleep, you take a little bit of time to help Echo repair their foot, which is almost severed, but not quite.
Yay.
All of you can mark off a long rest.
Spice is just asleep in Kinkashi's arms.
Gibbs feels fucking great for the first time in so
Like 3
long.
hours later though, because you just took Coke.
Bubs is gonna see
Space Coke.
Space Coke.
Kakashi with Spice and just be like, oh, I guess I'll just sleep
Fuck
alone.
off.
Oh,
He's not
Bubs.
jealous. He's an old man.
He's not that old.
Can I
Spice likes
jolt awake and remembering that my bottle is cracked, take the early morning lights to really like inspect it and run my fingers around it and like see like if it's still fucked up and like I don't know how to fix glass, but
You look at this bottle, and it's almost like you were trying to forget about it, but thinking about it as you lean back and you hear the little think as it normally does, just leans against the stone. You turn and you swivel it around, and looking at it, you didn't imagine it. There are small cracks that are spider webbing out from around where the bottle meets the cork.
I'm gonna find the pile of Kankashi and Spice and just start to like tickle Spice's ankle.
Spice doesn't like it.
I scratch.
She was in her sleep. She's like, "Buddy, stop."
No, it's me, it's good. And I like scurry my fingers all the way up to her shoulders and just go, wake up! Help me
You just hear
out!
all around you, you just hear, ah, 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 like four Yosoki, you just like scramble through their like little pillow fort. You see off in the distance, there's somebody who like was up in a hammock who just onto the ground. And there's like a small amount of chaos. There's some laughing.
Blue lights glow in the distance as Echo bars up.
Yeah.
Everybody turns.
Spice, do you have a blowtorch and something to fix my bottle with?
Spice rubs her eyes. She's like, "Yeah, I got those glass rods and that blowtorch from the Terra Matter lab."
Great. And I go scurry my fingers all the way through her bags until I find the things I'm looking for, and then go to Donut's lab and see if Donut's there.
Okay. You can go there. You can see Donut like is just putting this glove down. He like presses a little button and you hear zzz, and it powers up and he kind of nods. He looks tired but happy. He's finished this project that he set for himself. And he turns and he looks at you and he goes, "Oh, what? More work?"
Well, can you explain to me how... Can I melt glass to, like, glue more glass together?
Yes. With many years of experience and training, it is a skill you may learn.
No, I have a blowtorch. Does that cut down the time at all, or...?
You can mechanically do this, yes, but you will fuck up whatever it is you try with no skill.
Fuck. Okay, thank you. And I will go sit down right wherever Shade is, just holding the glass rods and a
you had
blowtorch.
probably walked past us.
So you're like, Shade, you're like, ding, you're done. You're right at the edge. You can tell, like, your battery meter about to deplete. You need to sleep. And then Gibbs just kind of comes right over.
Oh, so this is in the morning, I thought.
Oh, this is after you wake up. Okay,
Yes,
no
because I
problem.
needed a long rest.
Okay,
Yeah.
you jolt awake.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I needed a long rest.
Yeah, we're in the
So no problem. You jolt awake, and at this point, if you're jolting awake and the night has already passed, you can see Socrates, Ranklin, Donut, Tuesday, Doc, and several other Yosoki, several of whom are in like piloting gear, all kind of gathered waiting for you to wake up. Like this is children on Christmas morning, all like waiting for you. And as you all get up, you hear Socrates goes, "Oh, finally, all right. Are you ready?"
No, I need like 20 minutes and a snack.
And
I
so
just gotta clean myself a little bit.
I need
you
20 minutes
guys
and a
begin to like
snack.
get ready, and then this is where you go and you talk to Donut and you get this like you get the glass rods and everything, but no problem. So catching us all up to this point, it is morning.
What time exactly?
It is 9 a.m. If you guys took a little while.
Parade starts soon.
It's
She's
about
gonna
to.
go look for Mari.
But at this, Kankashi wakes up a little bit and he's like checking his communicator. You're beginning to like wash up.
Yeah.
You're like, I need a snack. And you can see Socrates just goes, ah. And Kankashi is like looking at his communicator and he just goes, oh, this is bad.
What's bad?
What?
And he like turns his communicator around and you can see there is like all on the infosphere, like tons of videos. There are like, GPF cracks down, GPF going door to door. There are videos of Perdido, a place that all of you have just been, and you can see it is teeming and swarming with these GPF individuals. There are ships, there are walking units that seem to be like mechanized mechanical walkers. There are tanks that are in the street. You don't see any starfighters at this moment, but all these viral videos coming in, people like kicking doors in and searching places.
Scrolling through really quickly, is there a way to see like if the governor's like, is he giving a speech at this moment in time? Like, is there any of like...
You take out your communicator, make a cultures check.
Yeah, I borrow spices.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
The screen's
Do
still
you want to borrow
busted.
my...
Whoa!
Natural 20!
No, hold on, I don't
Less
think
dice.
I would retire that die and leave it.
Oh, why are you?
I don't
Just
know.
stop
rolling
using
out
it
the
up.
juju.
Well, no, now I'm rolling out all the bad rolls. It don't matter.
So the next,
And the
Good.
next
one.
one.
Your communicator goes off, dead screen and all. You're holding spices, but you just hear.
Cool. I look at it.
I mean, your screen's dead.
Oh, I look at spices. Does hers chirp?
No.
Oh, I go to the accessibility settings and
For
like.
what it's worth, everybody else, yours click, but for this is Peep.
Oh.
Peep has removed Spice because Spice never answers anyway.
The group chat.
Okay, I find somebody else's wrist and I like scurry over and look at it.
I guess I can show mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody can answer the call, but it's Peep. And with that natural 20,
hi,
Peep
Peep.
just kind of calls and he goes, "Hey, how are you guys doing?
Great.
We're good.
Do you have the governor yet, or?"
We're like so close there. We got some allies. We're like
Okay,
working on it.
I heard there's a bunch of explosions apparently that happened in Perdido. That's where you guys are.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, we have
Yeah.
We don't know
Yes.
anything about that.
We heard them go off in the middle of the night.
All
maybe it's
right.
fireworks for the parade.
I guess that makes sense. But whatever. I heard something about this guy, Sitsu.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was supposed to host a party to
Mm-hmm.
kick off this thing, and him and all of the high influence guests they're just staying up in his penthouse. It was on the news because one of them is a very, very well-known arms dealer, I guess. But they're in the penthouse right now.
Nice. So we just crawl ourselves up through the tower. We've done that before. Gotten to the top of a tower.
All around, there's like all these Yusoki who are like now slowly like creeping in, trying to like watch.
Oh, here's my friends, and I make Bubs turn his wrist around so Peep, who is a white Yosoki. I'm like, look, this is my boss, Peep.
And there's just awkwardly you see people who just goes, "Oh, hi."
These are the ruby eyes.
You see a couple people just, hey. Doc is like, "Hi." And Donut just goes, "Hello."
Can I have my hand back?
What was the name?
No,
of the
well, a little
arms
bit.
dealer?
It's sweaty. I kind of like it though.
You're asking people that?
Yes.
Give me one
Yeah,
second
you can
here.
go back if you want it.
It's a guy named Arlen Sand. And apparently they specialize in heavy weapons, things like machine guns, things that are mounted to vehicles mostly. But there were some other people there too. They weren't on the news. There was supposed to be a private security detail too, so be careful if you're going to go there.
This is the penthouse in the Oasis Casino, yes?
No, this is the penthouse that Sitsu lives in. That's on the 4th floor of the GPF base.
Of course
Fourth
it
floor of
is.
the GPF base. Oh.
You could see Donut, like one eyebrow raises, and like when you say that, that's all that you really see.
Inside
Is that
that.
the
Make an
GPF
insight check.
outpost?
Sense motive check.
The base?
GPF outpost.
Okay, so it's right here.
The GPF outhouse.
It's the top of the base that you were just on the bottom of.
W on the map of Perdido.
19 plus 14 is 36.
Okay. You see, this is like Donut. He's sitting there, arms crossed, and when you guys are like, that's on the top of the GPF, whatever. Donut, when he goes like that, he's just going, no shit. Like, yeah. And then they're just
That's what
waiting
a
for you to
penthouse
finish. Like,
is.
you're having a conversation right now. It's very helpful to know that Sitsu's there. But this is something where now you're talking about something that it seems like Donut might already have a plan for.
Oh, wait. Okay, good. We're good. Goodbye, Peep. Thanks for telling us.
Oh, okay. And then you just hang up.
I hang up Bub's watch.
Okay, no
The
problem.
two androids are still on the
Still on
line.
the call.
Okay, are you guys actually okay though? That's really suspicious.
We
I
are
feel
managing.
like okay,
We have a plan in motion.
okay. I'm trusting you guys on this. This is important.
We understand.
All right, peep out.
Love you.
Terminates the call. You close the call early.
I know.
So now that you hang up, Donut goes, okay, so this Sitsu in the penthouse. You cannot go in the floor. You will die. Many soldiers. And Socrates nods and he goes forwards and he bumps this little cube that's set up on the ground and a little holograph begins to display. And you can see the GPF base. You've seen it from the outside, the walls, these heart strike fighters that you had seen. And Socrates is going to say, Donut told me that you had a ship. If it's small enough, you can land it on the governor's luxury landing pad, which they stole many of our terraforming units to make. A tremendous waste. But they also took out the anti-aircraft that guarded that porch initially to plant grass, so it works out. With the cover of the sandstorm, as long as we can provide distraction, you should be able to approach mostly unimpeded, provided one of you can fly through this storm.
We have an ace pilot with us.
Unfortunately, the shuttle is just a little bit too small to carry all of us.
He looks... Well, then that will pose a problem. We do have fighter craft that we were intending to use to pull away the drow fighters, but if you need an additional one to reach...
This holds 4 people, right? Uncomfortably.
4... It's designed for 4.
Right.
So 4 comfortably.
Okay.
You could, with Gibbs is going to have to lap up, but yeah, you can... This was in mind for all of you to be able to take it.
Including the bounty, though?
With the bounty, though.
So that would be tricky. And so, like, could you all fit in there?
Yeah, but
Yes.
it's like one person sitting on someone's lap and then another
Or-
person
or-
straight
or-
over
or-
their laps.
Or there is a cargo bay. And so you could, in theory, as long as you are not going real hard and doing like fast maneuvers, you could theoretically, either one of you or him could be in there.
He would be in the cargo bay, like he's the prisoner.
Someone
hopefully
will
he'll be
need to go and
unconscious.
retrieve the shuttle from our ship. It is outside the city limits.
I have a plan for that if we still have the drill.
Donut kind of nods and he says, we have drill, but what is your plan?
We could use the drill to get back to our ship underground.
It will be
Avoid
incredibly
suspicion.
slow.
How long does the drill take? How long would that take?
It would take a while.
Yeah.
Not like, I mean, you could do it, but it would take hours as opposed to like
1 hour.
1 hour. So, I mean,
But we're not
thinking
going
about
through
it.
the city.
And so
Correct.
this governor's meeting is tonight.
No, it's like now.
No, like
Now?
yeah. He was supposed to be having a party right now at the parade.
Yeah, no,
he had to
no,
cancel it, so now they're all in
Is
his
the parade
penthouse.
canceled?
With the videos that you saw, there was no parade happening.
Okay.
Yeah, this seems like this is a
So whatever the
choreographed.
plan is.
Shade. I know the shuttle is your...
And just trails off.
But what is the passcode for it?
Was there a pass?
No, you've never said
No,
that.
You never said it.
I didn't.
You just keep saying later.
Yeah.
Understood. If I were to scout ahead and get the shuttle for us, I could land it somewhere more manageable than on top of the GPF base.
But are we all there?
No, you're not. Is this only a shade peep or shade?
No, because
No,
we
we're
were all
all
standing.
here.
Yeah, we were all standing and talking to.
Okay.
So, okay, well, okay, but the whole point of us going out and landing it, what if? Because like you could get it outside of the city walls. We could get our Eats Meats truck outside of the city walls. You come pick us up in the shuttle. Then we take the shuttle and we go to the top of the thing because we can't land somewhere else in Perdido because they have anti-aircraft stuff. But
Donut
here
just
they
says,
don't.
"You have van?
We have a meat. Eats
You
Meats
have what?
meat.
Van.
Eats Meats van
Take van
to the no to the GPF place.
No,
Oh,
To the ship.
to your ship."
Yeah, I mean we could do that.
Yeah, how we got.
Are you faster than the van though?
I mean, probably.
Yeah, so like.
But it's easier if you
It's
go
less
get the van,
suspicious.
pick us up at the Ruby Eyes, and then we just drive out of the city because that's the
Also-
least points of suspicion.
yeah,
being-
yeah.
Why are we not taking our real ship? Why are we taking the shuttle?
Because it's too large.
And they
the
might
landing
shoot it
pad.
down. There's
We have to land on top of a roof.
yeah.
Okay, I thought our ship was small
I
enough
mean,
to
I'm
land.
a
And so
decent
if
pilot,
you
but
guys,
not
so
that decent.
Donut's gonna go, how big is this ship? And if you guys like convey how
Yeah.
large it is to him, he will say, this just barely fit. Not good idea,
Oh.
but could.
Okay,
I would recommend small ship.
right. We got small ship.
That is the ship.
Also,
we intend on using.
harder to see.
There's definitely like more aircrafts in like space around the.
Certainly.
Ah.
You saw at
Yeah.
least 4 fighters.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know that the Yosoki, you see 3 of them in pilot suits. Donut has like the elements of a pilot suit kind of starting to
Yeah.
get on. They're going to be like, there's probably going to be a dogfight happening
Oh,
around
man.
this. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, we want a small ship because if we're
Okay,
a big ship,
cool.
we'll probably get like
Sorry.
ion strike from the sky or something.
That's a good idea. Sorry,
Socrates
I don't know
Socrates.
shit.
is going to say, Kankashi has agreed to help us as well. So Kankashi and Donut are going to arrive at a later time to provide a distraction should you need it, to prevent elements of the GPF from reaching your floor.
If that is the case, then the shuttle shall be a good size for us to carry everyone and a body.
It needs to be alive, our bounty, my friend.
But he does not need to be conscious.
Church facts. Oh! Doc, do you have a med bay real quick?
Doc looks down and goes,
Okay.
Is Conkashi here?
yeah. He looks real
Everyone
nervous,
is
but
here.
he's here. Everybody's here.
Is Mari? Because Spice is looking around for Mari.
So
Spice is
finally,
not
at
here.
the very end of this,
I go to bed.
kind of like coming out from the back, you hear very sleepy Mari's voice. And she emerges. You can see, still wearing all the same clothes, no huge gauntlets on. And her hands, you can see there are nodes on all of them that are definitely meant to connect with computers and things of that nature. And even as she goes and she just kind of says, morning, and she waves, there is like this glimmer that goes, like this particle effect that traces her hand. There is some element that has been added to her.
Nanobots.
Perhaps.
Spice is gonna run up to her.
And she just like takes a couple steps sleepily, but she gives you a big hug.
Spice is just like crying into her shoulder, being like, what happened to you? What did they do?
It's been so long. I don't even know where to start. And at this, you can hear Donut says, maybe start later because you need to go. And Mari is going to turn and she's going to say, well, can I come with you?
Of course, come with us.
We don't have
Are
enough
you
room
well
on the
enough?
shuttle.
Can you fight? Because we're trying to kidnap
We
the.
don't have enough room on the shuttle.
And
Mari and I will walk there.
That you can't get through
You'll
the
get killed.
Yeah.
it might be best if Mari were to stay here and rest and recuperate among friends.
What?
She could wait for us in the ship. But I'm not there, so I say none of that.
It would be prudent if you waited on the ship if you want to have a reunion.
Yeah. Well, she's coming with us.
Then she should wait on the ship for when we get back with the shuttle and the prisoner.
I mean, if you guys have a ship, I can wait there.
Good.
I'm tired. I could help, but I'm tired.
Okay.
He'll come back to the ship with us.
So just to clarify, I am going to the Eats Meats distribution center, retrieving the Eats Meats van, driving the Eats Meats van back to the Ruby Eyes clan compound, using the Eats Meats van to transport all of us to the ship, where we will leave the Eats Meats van.
Donut says, you can just say van. Do not need to say eats meat each time.
It's comforting.
I like
Van.
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 Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
I'm playing with a van, I say from the med bay, far, far away. Sounds good.
Please be ready. I do not think that they will be less wary of an Eats Meats van driving around, seeing as how the bombs were packaged in Eats Meats boxes.
Good point.
In fact, the Eats Meats distribution center might already be swarming with GPF forces.
Donut looks at you guys and he goes, well, then van not good idea.
Probably not.
Can you just go out with your feetsies?
I can do that, but how will we transport Mari to the ship?
Can we all go out with our feetsies?
That would not be
We're
wise.
taking a stroll.
Maybe it would be best if Mari just stays here.
Is there a tunnel
I'm not
close
leaving.
to the
Well,
wall?
if Mari stays here, I'm gonna stay here.
Is there a tunnel close to the wall? I look at some of the ruby eyes.
What wall?
Like,
Oh, the outside
Perdido
wall
has a
of
wall,
Perdido,
right? So if we can get most of the way, and then mole style it the rest of the way.
You can see Donut looks at Tuesday and Tuesday looks and he just goes, and Donut goes. And then
Yes, no.
Donut goes, this is the time. And Tuesday just goes, okay, I have a tunnel and it goes to the outside and I might have something that could help.
What have you been hiding from us, Tuesday?
Well, to get some of the items from the GPF, we need a way to move around fast outside the walls. So I have scan skimmers, and you might be able to use those as long as you're
I don't know what that is, but
I don't know what that is.
a sand skimmer. So what Tuesday says is it's kind of like a motorcycle, but it uses a rapidly powered tread in place of any wheels. It goes really fast. It doesn't maneuver well. Donut says it goes like boat on land. And he says, well, it turns like a boat on land. Yeah, it's not good to maneuver, but as long as you can get a pretty straight shot, you can go pretty fast.
Nice.
And as a bonus, it doesn't seem to set off the sandworms or any of the other creatures that live in the area.
And you'd let
Donut
us
says-
borrow those Tuesdays? I'd really appreciate it.
He looks at Donut, and Donut just nods, and he goes, yeah, I guess. And Donut goes, you are doing good thing, Tuesday.
We'll park them when we get them. We'll park them in that cavern that I told Rita that our ship is in, and I'll tell you about later. And then you can just pick them up later. No big deal.
He looks at you a little suspiciously, and Donut elbows him, and he just goes, yeah, okay, that's fine.
You will also not need to give away all of your sand skimmers.
Unless all is 5, and then you will.
We need 6.
Unless
do
all
not
is
need
at least
6.
5 or
That does not
6.
need
I have 4.
Okay, well, I can buddy up.
Mari and I will ride together.
Done.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
He like opens up his communicator. He like holds it out to you, Gibbs. Bump. You can add Tuesday to your Tuesday Ruby Eyes to your contact list. But they ping you a little
I'm
map.
Diego's too, guys.
You can see just a little bit to the north of where the Wormtune Wastes are, a little further off. And so not actually, this is on the way between Perdido and you. You'll emerge just on the outside of the walls. And there, Tuesday says, there is a tarp. It's covered in sand. You're not going to be able to see it at first, but walk about 5 feet to the west from the hole. You'll be able to find it. Some assembly required. Shouldn't be anything that you guys can't handle.
Nice. All right. So, Donut, we're going to go there. We're going to go back. Thank you, Tuesday. We'll, let you know when we're going to land on the thing so that way you can time your stuff right. Thank you, Socrates. You guys are fantastic. Are we good? Is there anything we need?
Echoes started making their way towards the tunnel that leads outside the city to, run ahead to the director.
Tuesday is going to say, just let us know when you're ready.
Yeah.
And we'll get started.
Cool. Is Rita around? Is she, around?
They all look at each other and they kind of smile. And Doc goes, Rita is talker. She is at the gate. Keep GPF away.
Okay. Well, can you give her this message for me? And I hold out my hand to Doc. Just take it and I'll tell you the message
I
through your
do
brain
not
hole.
like this, but no.
Okay,
no.
Donut.
That is Donut. Who are you talking to, Tuesday?
I was talking to Doc.
Oh, to Doc. Doc goes over and he goes, oh, okay.
And I
taps
ET
it.
him.
Just overwhelmed. The ear hair goes out straight.
And I just send this really long message the way that people drunk text.
Yeah.
And it's all about being really grateful to Rita and the Ruby Eyes and just meeting the Elevators and giving them my coffee mug and how that was symbolic and that I'm so happy and grateful that we've connected and I really hope we're both successful and that I hope that the success here carries through to exactly what I'm trying to do in Junk Falls and just starting to draw some of the parallels in my head of the two sort of events and just when we're both done with all of our things, we will be two successful Yosoki cities and I hope that the bridge that I'm building continues to exist and I'm grateful that they built it with me. And that's the 10 minutes is all about that.
It stops and he little spark goes up and he just kind of looks at you and he just goes, that's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you look at your watch, less than 6 seconds.
I don't have a watch.
Okay.
Oh, he shakes his head a little bit and he turns to you and he says, yeah, I think Ranklin has some ideas about that one after, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, you can let him know.
I'm gonna sit down now.
All
And he
right.
just sits down exactly where he is, just kind of cross-legged. He's tired. That's a lot for him.
Oh my god, I should have picked a different one, but elders,
Probably.
man. Whatever, it's respect to elders, man.
But actually, as you communicate all that,
Yeah.
he does go, oh, the rental car cup.
Yeah.
Harry puts his teeth in that.
Yeah!
And he just kind of nods. But no problem.
My coffee mug that I gave that I'm super fond of.
Yeah.
The fact that someone's utilizing it in a meaningful way for their teeth is really cool to give
So-
to know.
I thought he said rental car cop.
No,
I
rental
also
car
thought
cup.
that.
Yeah. I was
So-
what cop?
I couldn't remember the name of the company that I made up because it was a long time ago. But I remember it was in Rat King and it has to do with something.
Yeah.
But
Whatever.
no problem. You can make your way, if you wish, into the tunnel system.
Before we go,
Oh.
Yeah,
Please, yes,
I
yes,
have
yes,
some
stuff.
RP. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just gonna Socrates,
Yes.
is there anything else that we should know before we go to the landing pad?
The squads that the governor is fond of are specialized, each one of them. And so each tends to follow along a certain tactic. I happen to know the group that is guarding the landing pad is Gula Squad. They are fond of projectile weapons and heavy firepower. That is why they are guarding the landing pad.
Do you know anything about Arlen Sand? Would he have...
Arland. A
He's-
smuggler, I think.
Yes, an arms dealer. He's with the governor at the moment, as well as a few other high-profile individuals.
Then we should expect private security as well.
Yes.
The governor's bodyguard will be there, along with their elite squad, I'm sure. We will do what we can to hold off the regular forces, but whatever you encounter up there, that is for you to deal with.
Understood.
Anything else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spice was going to light a cigarette and then flick one to Kinkashi.
Okay. He like kind of bobbles it and then catches it and thanks. Lights it up a little bit. You can see Donut rolls his eyes, but you're not in the engineering bay.
She goes, and I assume Mari's right there. She's gonna go, you know having to Vig, right?
She looks at you, and this is the first time she's been kind of tired. She's been pretty accepting of the fact that she's seen you. For the very first time, you can see her eyes get a little bit hard. And she looks down for a second and then looks back up, and she says, Spice, when you left, that hurt her real bad.
Spice's demeanor drops a little.
She gets like in close, she waves, and Kinkashi also goes, oh, and like gets in close. And with the three of you in close, she says, I have
Blue
concerns.
Squadron? Too soon. Sorry.
You could see.
Sorry. That wasn't appropriate.
You can see Kinkashi's looking at you now. You get the sense that he's like, something's up. But for Mari just nods a little bit and she goes, I'm worried that because she has such a debt to Sitsu, do they know you're coming?
They don't even know I'm here. She holds up the Kasatha arms, have been undercover and pulling it off maybe for once.
So nobody knows you're here.
Other than Kinkashi and Ruby Eyes? No one should. Well, I guess Seljun knows, but Seljun, he's a neutral.
You can see they both look at each other. Kinkashi kind of is like, and then Mari is just kind of like, she squints at him and they both kind of look at you. And Mari goes, there's nothing we can really do about that now. But
Are you having this conversation?
this is like,
No,
they're
we are
actively
huddled
trying to keep
up,
this
like,
private.
our legit
Then I'm not
antennas
going to
are
say
out
anything
touching.
about
No,
who
nothing.
else I know who knows you're here.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to say
Yeah,
anything.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
forget.
I know.
I'm just worried. If Meeg knows that you're here, there is the possibility. She hates you, Spice.
I love her still. I know. She throws up her head. I know I left, and I'm sorry, but I'm here to make things right. And she holds up her palm with Hylax on it, and she takes Mari's hand, who also has the matching one. She
There
goes,
is no tattoo. You can see
she holds it up, and she's
one of those. You can see elements of it, but that has largely been replaced by one of these contact pads.
Spice,
And you can
obviously
see
shocked.
she
She goes,
like
"What?"
pulls her hand away, and she goes, "Look, I didn't have a choice. Okay, when you left, we had to fight back however we could. You think I like being like this?" And when she goes like that, you can see there are multiple points. It looks mostly like skin and like little bandages and wounds, but there are elements of her body that shift under the skin. You can see there is more machine than you initially suspected there.
Are you turning into an android? Have you chosen to convert?
Kinkashi laughs a little bit, and even though she looks pissed, Mari just goes, "No, you idiot.
Sorry, I don't know. That's what you look like.
I'm not turning into an android any more than you're turning into a Kasatha.
Oh. Spice laughs.
But we had to fight back. And when weapons were banned for anybody who wasn't carrying a license, and she nods to Kinkashi, who's just like, hey, I had the ability and I could make money. Sorry. And then she just kind of like waves a hand and she goes, what else could we do to fight back? We had to adapt. We had to figure out other things. Socrates was able to connect me with somebody that could do this. So here we are.
Hey, you look good to me. She takes her hand that used to have the highlights.
She almost resists, but she lets you hold it. And then she says, Meeg didn't get so lucky.
What do you mean?
She isn't changed like me on the outside, but she hates you more than she hates the governor. And so I'm worried that if she finds out you're here, she'll be waiting for you too.
Well, Spice casts her eyes down, and she looks back up at Mari, and she goes, I'm here to make it right. I know I've been a coward, but I love you, and I love this town, and I love the people here, and I want to do good. So we'll save
Kinkashi
her.
nods and he goes, well, Spice, if we're able to do this, this is a pretty big step towards being able to make some kind of amends. I don't think that Meeg is going to forgive you, but it's a step.
I mean, I can't control Meeg. I love her, and I'm going to love her unconditionally for the rest of my life. And, Mari, I'm not going to try to control her. If she decides to hate me, I'm going to have to be fine with that. But if we can learn to recover our relationship, I want that more than anything.
Meeg flicks your nose.
What? Ow! What was that for?
I'm sorry, I'm just making sure you're really Spice. That sounded almost mature.
I've grown! They say people change!
She kind of stands up a little bit. The huddle breaks now. You guys all hear the poof as Spice gets her nose flicked. But they back up. And at this point, Socrates says, we do have a timetable to work on, so if you could get going.
Well, I think Echo left like 20 minutes ago. She's probably
Echo, you run out. What are you doing? You're going
Echo's
just straight
headed
there?
to the director just to open everything up.
No problem. You run, dashing down the tunnels. It's like, it's almost like there's an old screensaver where you were going through these tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that, but sped way up.
I love that! Oh my god!
We're talking about
Straight
this
through.
90s.
Yeah.
So you're just tearing through, and then all of a sudden, it's like there's more sand, and you're feeling more warmth, and there's sand moving, and you kind of explode out through this tarp. The tarp aside, and you are in a sandstorm out in the desert. There's almost no visibility, but with your communicator and without too much interference at this point, you can kind of navigate by map. Running full speed, if there is a hole, a dune, anything like that, you're going to fall into it. And it's probably going to hurt. But how fast are you going through this?
With the sandstorm, the low visibility, and only being able to navigate by map and not really navigate through sand, Echo's probably going about 2/3 speed,
Okay.
which is still fast.
Wait, so you're not taking a sand thingy?
Echo's faster
Speed of
than
sound,
those.
yeah, speed of sound
I
instead of
thought we
speed
were
of
gonna
light.
take the sand skirders.
No, but she doesn't
Interestingly-
need to.
I know.
Y'all are going to.
From a math standpoint, actually, no Echo is not. These are fast. They're not maneuverable. So this is a rocket sled. But no problem. You dash across.
Like that shitty scene in that James Bond movie. With,
I've seen a lot of the new James Bond movies.
it was like a Pierce Brosnan one.
Your feet pound the sand. You imagine causing huge vibrations to travel through and beneath the desert. And as your feet carry you through the sandstorm towards the ship, that does bring to mind things that you have done, and your ally is not with you this time. Every now and then, you do feel rumbles, but no creature seems to detect your emotions.
You're
Rolled a
lucky.
5. So
So 5 sandworms coming. No.
Make my way
Echo's
down
like,
the
"Fuck."
tunnel with the robot.
it's an
at some
8 with
point.
modifiers, but still not
And
near enough. You dash across this space and you make your way to the caves, no problem. I believe it takes you something like 20 minutes to get there. It's a lot
Yeah, we've been
faster than the
chatting
van.
forever.
So no problem. You tear across and you arrive in these caves. You've been there before. It takes you a little bit to find the actual like right areas. As you go and you get close, there is a moment where you can hear like the sound of movement. And as you go, you see like some lighting on the director just die down. Kind of like these are sensors that were definitely detecting you remember setting sensors.
Yeah, I just want making sure there are
Yes,
sensors.
definitely yes.
Echo approaches the door to the bay and says,
Hello, Director. We are returning.
From a speaker that you have never heard before because there's been no occasion to use it, you hear this loudspeaker, almost PA system like project over the general cave, which does echo a little bit. Welcome back. Echo, 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 echo. The door. Then you can see the cargo bay.
There's a little bit of a slow blink as Echo says,
Amusing.
and Echo goes inside.
We are bringing a guest on board. She is recovering from multiple injuries and will most likely need the med bay. However, if we were to leave her behind, I would request that you keep the ship where it is until we return.
Echo, I did not plan on moving the ship.
If Mari were to request such a thing, I would ask that she have prior authorization from the crew.
Very well.
You good? That's all you want to do? No big smoochy smooch?
Yeah, you got
Who's your big reunion? No, I'm kidding. No
Yeah, the
pressure.
director's like, would you like to kiss?
I set up a bed for you.
Echo recognizing
slow
a joke
down.
is about as close as Echo gets to like outward romance.
Yeah.
Now is the time to talk about our feelings.
We are all here for it.
Yeah. So no problem. You confirm that these settings have been, and there are like multiple like privilege levels that can be granted. There are like crew. There is like the root directory.
You edit.
Yeah.
But no, exactly. You kind of give her the visitor or guest. She can get onto the infosphere. She can use the food synthesizer.
Yeah.
She's not able to access the UPPs.
She can flush the toilet.
Depends,
because the
depends.
other one's been changed into a prison bay.
Yeah. It's still full of chemicals. But no problem.
With Doc's med bay, really quickly,
Yeah.
can I take 10 and try? So like, Gibbs understands a little bit how cocaine works. It like connects to like receptors in your brain and like changes some of the chemistry of the way that your brain works. She also understands that it does a lot of things by like opening up like blood vessels to make you more receptive like of the experience or whatever.
Sure.
Can she try to modify this cocaine to change it?
Space cocaine.
Space cocaine to be like instead of
It's
an
Docaine.
upper,
It's one more than C. It's D.
make it like a downer. Make
So
it
you want to
like
neutralize it.
It's
Well,
called candy in game,
I want.
right?
Yeah.
No, that was just Jazzy
That was
Jiff
just
and
a
his like.
drink.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like,
Can I like?
this-
Can I have it like? Can I have some? Can I add something to it that rides along like the cocaine chemicals and like? Yeah, you get like maybe like a few minutes of the first high, but then it like is able to metastasize and like make you really sleepy.
You do not want it to metastasize, but you do want it to metabolize.
Yeah.
And so, yes,
Yeah.
go ahead and make a medicine check.
Just a hardened
Well-
gem of space drug in your
I don't
stomach.
know. I mean,
Space rocks.
knowing
Yeah,
Gibbs,
that
she
would be
might
the
want that.
Nicest chunk of Molly ever. Would be expensive.
Medicine.
Yeah.
20,
Can I turn this cocaine
20
into crack?
30.
That's
13 plus 14 is
Actually, what
27.
Gibbs is
27. Thank you.
So you think about the way that cocaine works, and you know that it increases the amount of a certain neurochemical that can be It basically means that the receptor is enlarging, and
yeah.
more of this chemical can be taken in. That's actually what creates that down afterwards. Those receptors stay open, but there's no more of that neurotransmitter
Nice.
to continue. And so thinking about that, you imagine finding something that can combine with the same neurotransmitter would probably pretty rapidly curtail that effect. It's not just gonna like cut it completely out, but you can kind of cut the high a little bit. Yeah, no problem.
But not like cut the high. Like, I want to make it so that when you get the down, that it like knocks you the fuck out. Like, I want to make it like a sedative.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I want to amplify the experience.
You
and
think
change-
about that,
Yeah.
and in terms of you want to basically set up a controlled crash.
Yes.
No problem. So this really has to do with a number of different things, but you can synthesize something that has a combination of sugars, caffeine, a vasodilator, and probably something that I would say to get that effect.
Sudafed.
I just take out my Benadryl that I bought on Ora's Bay when I was like, who knows what we have allergies? I'm just like,
A little Kool-Aid. Yeah, not
I think we
sponsored.
actually have hypoallergen.
You do, but you can absolutely synthesize something that will ultimately, it's not going to be like a sedative necessarily, but it's going to provide some deep sleep once the person gets
Like
there.
a low-level horse tranquilizer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So ketamine.
So nice. So I am putting cocaine, deep
More like
sleep
trazodone.
in my inventory. Using the med bay, taking some time, using my medical knowledge to like.
It's basically
do
like
this.
methadone. So yeah, you
Nice.
can do that.
Cool beans. Nice. So now my
those
cocaine is not real cocaine. It's
10 minutes, I would have gone to the tunnel.
Yeah, no
to
problem.
Get to the
You can walk and
I
kind
would
of
take the
jogging if you
robot.
want. Okay, you take the robot with you, just a little bit louder. And so one thing to note, when you do take this robot with you, your chances of being stealthy almost gone.
I'm just getting it back to the
Yeah,
ship.
yeah. But just so you
undercover
just
right now.
for the future, so you're aware.
What's its name?
It is a rioter model.
No, what's its name?
It does not have a name. It has a designation.
Ryan.
Ryan.
Ryan
Ryder. Ryan Ryder. Yay! And I trot along. It's a few minutes behind, but like we'll scamper to catch up.
Are we all going?
Yes, I just.
Okay.
Mari, come on.
Mara, come.
You all go. Kankashi is gonna stay. Kankashi looks and he kind of nods and he goes, "I guess I'm going in this raid. So, good luck."
See you, space cowboy.
I get it. That's funny.
You literally, this is the most applicable situation you could possibly use.
Yeah, he
This is
like.
really good.
I mean, he like has a Western themed
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
literally a space
I'm
soldier
just
that
gonna
is a
give
space
him
cowboy.
just like a head nod.
Gives you a head nod back. You all make your way into the tunnels. You make your way through these over the course of several minutes. It takes you almost 10 to traverse all of them until you begin to see the sand. It gets a little warmer. You hear the wind, and then you emerge through this tarp that is flapping a little in the wind. Echo just blew through it. To the right of this, you can see, with the sand displaced a little bit, another tarp that has been placed across several items. And pulling that aside, there are motorcycles. They were at one point a motorcycle frame. The wheels have been taken away. The engine has been removed, and a electric engine has been put in its place. And this is powered to a tank tread looking thing that goes through the middle of the motorcycle. And so this is going to serve as almost like a tank to great traction. And you imagine, as long as this is going pretty quick, it is
You
going to
can't
go.
turn.
You can.
But it's more like you have to lean.
Yes,
to turn.
exactly. You turn the same way that you ski, and so you have to lean, and it's going to be a slow turn, and so you need to really predict. And at the moment, you've got about 20 feet of visibility.
Bubs is gonna make sure
But
his jetpack
I still
is
have
turned on.
the
Switched up.
coordinates of
Okay.
the ship.
You do,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, there's 5 here, right? Or use 4?
There's 4.
Yeah.
Oh, so I have to drive my own?
No.
No.
No,
No. Can someone else
Mari's
drive?
here. And
Well,
the
Mari can
robot.
drive her own if you really want her to.
You can go with me, I guess.
Does the robot have a piloting check?
Wow.
Does who?
The robot?
No, it does not.
Okay, so it can't pilot. I'll have it sit on the back of mine.
Okay.
Like, facing away to cover the back if we get beset by anything.
I just imagined it as
He's
you
holding
sitting.
your hips, yeah.
No, even better. I was imagining it as you sitting on the very back of the seat and him sitting reverse on the front.
I don't like that.
He's like straddling. He's shooting the guns over your shoulders, and you're driving the ship.
What's
I don't know
that
why.
video with Seth Rogen as like Kim Kardashian?
Yes,
and-
yes. I did. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
god, yeah.
Oh man, sorry about that. Anyways,
Nice.
um,
Yes, all that.
We only need 3 bikes, actually.
the robot climbs aboard in the back, no problem. So you and the robot on one.
Gibbs and Bubs on 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or so I want to try and using the coordinates that I have, plot out like the trajectory that we need to go.
Okay.
And then I'll
I'll
disseminate
have
that information
Gibbs
once
in the
I've
front,
done
like a
so.
child like sitting on your lap, just in case I have to grab her and like jetpack off.
I'm just gonna stand on like the flat part, right? Because is there like a metal part?
Yeah.
Stay.
Yeah, so I'll stand so that way my nose is like, my chin's resting on the handlebars so I can like watch everything. And I'm gonna be
Okay.
like the headlight attached to Bubs's Bubs' thing. Ooh, and I cast light on my green bean can,
Okay.
and I just like hold it at my chest, so I'm the Rudolph to Bubs's.
You wrap
sled.
your arms around
Yeah.
the handlebars and just hold it. In the
Yeah,
front.
and that's how I'm like holding
No
on.
problem.
It's really cute.
It is very, very dim light.
Yeah.
It is the daytime and in a sandstorm. So really, it's like you would have to hit somebody for them to see it. But in your mind, it looks really cute.
Yeah, it looks really cute.
Everyone,
They'd be seeing a different light
make
right
sure
after.
you
so-
have your helmets on. And he's gonna go into like inventory. I'm gonna find something for Gibbs to block the sand out of her eyes.
Nice. I think I have a helmet. Don't I?
You've never
No, I've never
used your
used
suit
it,
once.
but I think I
You
have
You
it.
have the space
Space
helmet.
helmet.
But,
and the suit.
but does that only
Spice, you're
exist
riding with
on the
Mari?
on the
That's
What?
on
You're
the
riding
space
with
suit that
Mari?
you have
Well, if
back
there's
at the ship.
4
There's 4.
and there's only 2 that are occupied,
Yeah.
Yeah, you each
then
get one.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mari
okay.
and Spice are gonna
Mari
run.
goes over to
Yeah.
one of the other ones. You can see she doesn't have a helmet with her, but she takes her hands, she puts them over as if she's about to cover her head. And as she moves her head around, you watch as it seems to these small currents move out these nanites and they print a helmet over her face in real time. And she just snapped the little filaments away and she just kind of to you and
Spice's jaws
takes
just
off.
drop to the floor.
And she
Did
goes.
Can those destroy a
But wait, but I
planet?
was.
Didn't you send out the plan? to everybody?
yeah,
Oh, did
everybody.
I didn't know if that had happened.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
coordinates. It's easy
Okay.
to do. You're just sending somebody, share your location.
Okay.
Foursquare exists back in the day.
I was like, I don't know. I was just,
Eight
thought she was
square
like, all right, see ya. Fucking
cube.
wrong direction.
So I imagine I put the space belt on
right into the wall.
his head.
All right, let's go. Boom.
Thanks, Bubs.
So no problem.
Thanks, Bubs. They think because it's now muffled because I'm wearing a helmet
Yeah.
for the first
And
time.
as you
in forever.
like kick this thing into gear,
Yeah.
it jolts you hard. It's like a brief moment where you hear like this start up and you're like, oh, this is gonna be nice. It pulls you. It's like this thing, if you were to imagine it, the sensation is it is dragging you through the
Yeah.
sand at like 100 miles an hour. The sand is whipping across your face. You are in the midst of a sandstorm.
Yep.
You see nothing.
Yep.
You see a glowing dot on the map and you are trusting that that's where it's going. I would say
And
everybody-
I'm just ready to jetpack off or something bad happens.
everybody who's piloting, go ahead and make a piloting check.
I think about when Shade and I shared a motorcycle the very first session.
Nice.
Or whatever, it was like the second session. And how it's different with Bubs.
21.
Very good. 25.
Okay.
An 8 plus 0.
Can I help? Because
Oh, no,
I'm
plus four.
piloting?
12.
I'm helping?
12.
With my
I would
can?
say make a +2 modifier for
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
So that's a 14.
Nice.
All of you, without any real problems, make your way through. You can't go especially fast. Echo on foot is faster than all of you are, even on these. You have to slow down. And so it is actually a little easier for you to maneuver. There are points where you remember more than you can see that there are areas that are going to dip down. And so you coast to the right. And the first time that you do it, you're like, okay. And it's like barely turning. And it takes you a moment to even notice the difference. And so you begin to predict your turns well ahead of time. Bubs, there is a point where you get real close. There's a point where you're riding, everybody's going, and you feel pretty good. You're about to just like go a little faster because you're doing fine. And for a moment, you remember this old movie that Steele used to show you. It was about some guy who's really angry, Mark maybe. And Mad Mark was just driving through the desert, and you're reminded of this. And so, in your mind, you're like going to this fantasy. You start going a little faster, and Gibbs, you see just through the bits of sand that these cave systems are looming right ahead. And so you need to put the brakes on. And you like slap Bubs' head down. Bubs, you look and you see, and you're just enough to be able to keep Bubs back on track.
Nice.
You slow down, and like for everybody else, you pull up to a stop like 50 feet away from the caves. Bubs, you pass them. You get closer and closer and closer, and it slows down until you're like 3 feet away from the wall. But you stop.
Imagine I do like the Akira like bicycle turn as I
Probably
turn.
That's
not,
too
'cause
cool.
With your piloting check in your brain, you're still like you are barely
hard.
hanging on. And if there was no sand,
You fall
people would
off
see
it,
it like
like-
rattling, and you like barely holding on. But in your mind, you're great. So you're like, I'm gonna slide. You turn it and go ahead and make a reflex saving throw, both of you, as you eat the dirt. You completely dig the
Nat
side.
one!
no.
The dice giveth and the dice taketh
Dirty 20.
away.
A dirty 20.
Can I use the dirty 20? Can I grab Gibbs?
That would be
Dirty
a
20.
natural 20 that you could do that with. Gibbs, you take 7 points of damage.
Splat
As
against
you
the
are
cave wall.
jettisoned from this craft, you hit the wall of the caves and slide down into the sand. Bubs, you just hold real tight onto the handlebars, and you feel Gibbs's tail like flick your nose as she gets propelled over the handlebars into the wall.
You see the cartoon like Gibbs-shaped hole in the side of the canyon, and you just see Gibbs peel off.
Echoes inside the ship, just like.
Yeah. You're just watching on sensors now that have like accounted for the sand, and it gives you a little bit more visibility, and so you can just see
like a
Gibbs
big-
slam in.
Bubs is gonna go look
I
for
don't even see the
Gibbs.
numbers.
You hear very softly from overhead, impact detected. But no problem. You go over, you peel Gibbs up off the ground.
And then she's like feet first into the ground.
Yeah.
And he's like digging her out, and he thinks back to when he buried her in the sand a little bit.
Yeah, like reverse.
Hurts.
You
I
peel
take the
Gibbs
hand,
out.
get up, dust myself on.
Mari gets off of
So
her
odd.
bike and she just turns to you, Spice. She puts their hand on the helmet and you watch as it dissolves back into her hands. And she just goes, "You have some interesting friends." And she begins to move off, looking up at the ship.
Yes, I do.
The gangplank is down as you enter into the caves.
Request a break.
Oh, yeah, we're about to get there. As you all approach the ship, you emerge onto the deck, and then Echo, you're already there. You can see them approaching and hear them approaching. Is there anything that you want to do? Okay. You all reunite back at the ship. And because it is 8:25, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get back for the end of this session.
And because all the girls have to pee, well, it's not you.
That's really it.
So we'll be back in just a little bit. It is 8:25. We'll be back at 8:35. We'll see you in just a second.
And you.
And welcome back. Thank you for
Spaghettios.
sticking with us through the break if you did, or joining us if you didn't. Let me flip over to this DM cam real quick and see if I can't get this sorted out. Bring that back over here.
The
and the
finger
answer
looks like it's in
is-
focus.
There we go.
You should have one of those eye charts behind you.
Yeah.
No, normally I turn the focus off. We figured out what does
Yeah.
it, but I forgot. So, we are going to jump right back into Starfinder. For all of you, you have returned to the Directive Zero, your ship here in the caves of Akaton. There's a sandstorm that's raging outside, but you have all accumulated here. What preparations are you making for this, if any?
So I have a bunch of equipment now, and we don't have any defenses on the shuttle.
These are all statements.
How long would it reasonably take to attach some sort of weapon system to the shuttle?
In like a, if you wanted to try to set something up through like using your communicator to fire it, this is something that would be very makeshift. It has the potential to get ripped off in the sandstorm. It wouldn't be functional in like a really meaningful way. But you could certainly do it, and you might get a shot or two off if you need it.
Is there
Thinking about
something like tangentially to do that, but with a shield application? Like, could I take the shield off of this robe?
It's like a small personal shield.
Okay,
so, yeah, probably not.
I can't like boost its power to
Correct.
protect. Okay,
But
cool.
could we? Okay, I know it doesn't work on the big ship, but on the little ship, can we crack the window and just stick our guns out and shoot people from our guns
It's
with our
gonna
arms?
be a sandstorm.
Okay, but like,
But
So
can
it's,
I
as long as you're in the
try?
atmosphere and you are not too high up, and you don't mind having a sandstorm in your face, yeah, of course you
Would
could.
that break
but
the
the
ship?
glass is also like it's vacuum sealed, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's still a shuttle, so
Yeah,
that would be
so-
breaking that element.
Well, no, could
It does open. There's a way to
okay.
open it, but I mean,
It's not something that
it's not going to kill you. It will be horrendously uncomfortable. You're flying through a sandstorm,
Alright.
in a convertible, but you could do it. It's not going to cause you damage. It's
Alright.
it's sort of impractical.
This is one thing I wanted to ask about
Yeah.
the game, because it's a future thing. Some
Sure.
future things are different for sci-fi.
Yeah.
In reality, like on the NASA's International Space ship, they can't let like dirt or sand get between like
Mm-hmm.
specific parts. Do they account for that in the future? Do they put like?
I like how
shit
you're
over stuff?
asking me that. Like, I know. In terms of our world and like this
Yeah.
game, yes. And so
Okay.
you guys have actually passed through scrubbing rooms in almost every space station that you've gone through.
Yeah.
Whether you've been aware of it or not, another story. There are some that are very subtle. But there are multiple steps that are keeping things kind of free of these things.
Okay.
Part of that, in terms of like the grooming process for everybody but Gibbs, is keeping things like dandruff away. That's why some of the grooming things are so strict here. You've noticed there's a lot more cleanliness than places like Gibbs. But that being said,
So if we open the hatch, probably we could sand in the ship.
it's definitely like that's going to be a project to get it out of. But
Okay, but would it
yeah,
mess up the wiring? That's only one question.
old ship.
it has the potential to.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
It was an old ship that's never been used. It's a new but old ship. I think it's fine. But anyways, I hear you guys' caution. I was just curious, seeing as I can see the gears turning in your brain. So we just gonna go?
No, I have a couple of things I'd like to know. Director, can you search Clan Ilme on the infosphere?
Searching. Go ahead and make a cultures check.
Can I
This is my pupper.
use my bounty to see if I can look up any certain other famous or high-ranking people who might be at this party affair?
Yeah, make a cultures check. Using your bounty
Yeah, use my
skill.
bounty.
Yeah. What was
15.
yours? 15. With a 15, and you're looking specifically for like this. You're just looking for this clan and like kind of like things attached to it, or
Yeah, I want to know if there's any like cultural customs attached to Clan Ilme.
you don't find anything pertaining to Clan Ilme. There's so many clans. There are a tremendous number of customs, and in fact, in Kasatha culture, it is a very, very custom-rich culture, and each clan has its own set. you have only met one Kasatha and very briefly, and so you don't really even know what words to type in to look for these things. You try typing in like greeting custom, and like some videos come up that you were not expecting. You're like, nope. It's like, so yeah, it's one of those things that like you don't really know.
Mari, I
what
swear, I'm not trying. I don't watch this kind of stuff on my own.
Mara goes, wait. But yeah, it's like
fist bumps.
yeah. But yeah, so not a whole lot. What did you roll?
A 30. If you rolled a cultural, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 plus the
Nice.
5 plus the 6. for
Very
culture
nice.
and,
Holy shit.
suppression. Yeah.
Good job.
Damn.
I get plus
Okay,
5
let
in my.
me-
Damn,
I gotta
Daniel.
I gotta go into my extra folders here. Give me
Yeah.
just one second.
It's like
here.
one of the highest rolls ever made. First.
Yeah. Give me one moment.
Oh,
I would probably set the robot to defend the ship and Mari, and then drop all the equipment off in the armory,
Sure.
because
No
I don't
problem.
have the list.
Is
But
it too late for Echo to have researched Arlen's sand during the time while they were waiting for the peeps?
You can certainly do that. Make a cultures check.
Can I attach a chain eyelet to something in the shuttle? So if we were to, can I attach chains to the shuttle with shackles on them?
Yeah.
Can I like fortify the shuttle in some way that like if the guy's not unconscious and we just need to like
So you
strap
want
him in?
to attach chains into it's not a cargo bag. I want to be really clear. This is like, in the bus when they open up the side to put the
like
luggage
Yeah.
in. This is like that.
Oh, can I take off the wheels on my like med bay thing with the straps
Yep,
on it
no
and
problem.
like
The
slide
gurney.
that in, thinking like, okay, we just like take it out, put him in there, strap
Yeah.
him in, shove him back in the little like, compartment thing, close the door, like
Yeah,
we're good to
It
go.
fits perfectly in
sense.
terms of height. You imagine this is almost standardized to fit into things like this, and so 2 of these would fit perfectly end to end, and probably 6 of them in total.
Nice.
So like a lot of things are standardized to fit into things, and so this is perfect.
Nice. And I add an extra belt because I know he's got an extra set of arms.
Great, no problem. You have mechanical restraints and a gurney. Yeah,
So, because I'm an outlaw, I reduced the
DC by
5.
okay.
I got a 17.
Okay. Arlen Sands is known mostly for Sands Enterprises is a weapons conglomerate that exists amongst Drow. It exists also amongst the Lashunta. At one point, it was 2 companies that merged. They are very, very well known for selling starship weapons. That is primarily what they do. They actually had a contract during the Vesk War with Anubis Dynamics, which is actually based in the United Solari Republic. One of the very few joint cooperation kind of things that happened during the Vesk War. You find that they have been supplying, in increasing numbers, the GPF with military hardware. And that's in and of itself odd. That has not happened since the Vesk War. There have been no huge arms procurements, and in fact, both the USR and the GPF, along with some of the smaller factions, have only really dialed down. There's not really a need for spending millions of credits on a tank if there isn't a war happening. So that's odd. For you, Bubs,
You share that, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the group chat.
there is a person, and this is not you finding it by like searching. This is really you who you go onto your bounty forums and you start looking around. What's happening on Akaton, and you find something. It's like 4 days old. It's like one of these comments that was made and nobody ever answered it. But somebody says, "What's happening on Akaton? There are all kinds of people heading there." Something about somebody named Melvin Snelt.
Melvin, who we let die.
Everybody who is going, Melvin, Jebediah Hex, all former bounty hunters, all people attached to the military.
What?
Is this a recruitment drive? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And then that little emoji with like the thinking face. And that's it.
Bubs is gonna share this with the group. And Bubs knows Mosaic Team 5. It's a Solarian company, correct?
Mosaic Team 5?
believe
Yeah.
so,
It's
yeah.
based out of the United Solari Republic. Really, you've never looked into Mosaic or like
Yeah.
who owns it, but presumably Mosaic.
Yeah, that's what I believe Bubs and,
Yeah.
and also me as a person has been going by.
Yeah.
He's going to share that information that, hey, Mosaic has, this, so the United Solarian Republic kind of backing. Are they making one for the GPF now with all these people? Question mark? Question mark?
Wait, wasn't Melvin the one that was in the
This is
jail?
other. It's just Joe said Melvin, Jebediah. It's not about just Melvin. It's about
No, but like, if they're recruiting it, if GPF is recruiting bounty hunters and then throwing them in jail? Question mark.
Spice
it's just-
is
it was
going
just
to
one person,
turn
maybe
to
something like that, I don't
Mari
know.
and go, "Why did they put you in jail?"
For the rebellion.
It had nothing to do with recruiting bounty hunters?
I've been in jail ever since. I don't know what any of this is, but it can't be good.
Ever since when?
A year.
A year ago.
What happened a year ago?
You would remember, Spice, this is when the end of the GoldenEye Rebellion, when that was quenched. People were thrown in jail. There was this whole kind of thing that happened. The only reason you remember that Mari was put in jail and not killed, actually, was because of Meeg. Meeg used some of her kind of political power to get her put in jail and not executed.
So Meek still has some left for you.
It was the last thing that Meeg did. That was nice. Yeah.
But there might be a chip in
Spice
that iron.
smiles. Yeah. There's hope for us.
Bubs is he's gonna get some of the cigarettes out of the storage.
Mhm.
And he's gonna like go over to Shade. What is Shade doing now?
Probably getting back would have set the robot to guard the ship, checked to make sure that nothing was tampered with, and then been ready to continue on with the mission.
Okay, so I imagine like when he's like setting up the robot or something, I'd probably like be around him and just
Sure.
like trying to do like the child holding the flashlight for the dad kind of vibe.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Easy to do.
He's gonna go up to Shade and, hey Shade, these are for you, and he's gonna give him back 5 cigarettes. These are the ones I borrowed. I have my own pack now, and I'm gonna hold up my pack.
I thought you were trying to quit.
Well, you know what they say, old habits die hard.
You should give them to me.
The pack?
You should quit.
He like looks at the pack. And he puts it in his hand. Shade.
Pocket those for later. You just got fucking scared.
Our own teammate.
Inside check.
Bubs is gonna say, Shade, I know you're, you know, having issues with like the direction of this mission with Gibbs and all that. She seems like she's making a case that you don't care, but like, I don't know. Have you ever read The Wizard of Oz?
Quick infosphere check on the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, no problem. You look real quick, and it takes a second. This is like old Solarian history, but going back, there have been several reproductions. There is a point when you go back, like it looks like there was an old, like a recasting of it back in like in 2080, where somebody called Selena Gomez plays as like an old wicked witch and all this kind of stuff. But you get the general gist of it.
Frank Baum. Yes.
Well, Ed, there was a book that was based on it. There was a man who he accidentally bought a cursed axe from this tinsmith, and he lost his leg using it. Fortunately, the tinsmith was able to replace his leg. And then more accidents happened, which led to his whole body being replaced. Except his heart, which he was unaware of. I know you care, Shade, but sometimes you act or you care in a way as if your heart was made of tin. But I know you need to realize that it's not. I know it's not. And maybe Gibbs doesn't see it, but I see it.
I appreciate that, Bubs. We should continue with the mission.
Oh, okay. And he's just gonna go back to like holding the flashlight.
No
like,
problem.
With the robot.
You do so. You make your preparations. Anything else you want to do before you set off on this journey?
Echo would have stashed a couple weapons in the ship.
Okay.
And just like kind of slimmed down as far as like
Yeah.
the armory that they're now carrying.
You guys have slowly accumulated some items since spending some time in the drift, through the
Yeah.
diner, through the Perdido.
Spice is going to like excitedly drag Mari around the ship, go, this is the tree that we got, and check out this cookbook that I got. She like starts flipping through it, but she like, all of Bubbles' Polaroids start to fall out of it. I go, don't look at those ones.
She just goes, oh,
Yeah, wait, those ones aren't a part of the gift.
he really
But
has
then-
no hair.
He really doesn't. Nowhere, girl,
Wow.
nowhere.
She likes that.
He looks up and she goes, where did you get this ship?
Oh, well, she explains the story without any, she doesn't hold back any details.
We found it.
She begins to like hold
Have
up
you
her
heard of
hands.
PlayStation El Paso?
You can see all these hands. And as you say that, she says, yeah, I've actually been there before.
Not anymore.
Is that why
Yeah.
you're made of nanobites?
Nanobites.
Are you made of
Like a
nanobites?
cereal.
I don't know.
Turns- and like you can see,
your
she's holding her hands
nanobites.
against the wall, and there are these like tendrils of strange electronic-looking things. And she stops and she goes, "They're nanites,
Nanites. Got it. Sorry.
and they help me with things." She takes her hands away. You can
Looks
see they
expensive.
like back
Can
into
I
her hand.
detect magic? Is it?
You use detect magic.
Yeah.
It is not magic.
Yeah.
This is
Weird.
purely technological. But she turns to you and she says, "I don't recognize this at all." This
Yeah, isn't it weird?
Yeah.
They
Nothing
like
like we used to fly.
shaved off the fins and stuff.
No, they didn't shave off the fins. I've never seen components like this. Even this material, and she kind of like knocks her hand against it, and it just sounds like metal to you. But she says, "This is some kind of ceramic. I've
Ceramic.
never experienced this before, and even the screws are different."
You hear that,
Echo.
director? You're looking good.
Echo like squints at Mari. It's just like the eyes like condense
Flirting
a little
with you.
bit,
With their
and
shit.
and wants to see what Mari might like. Sense motivating
Go for it.
Mari's intentions here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna leave her alone with our precious baby boy.
Yeah.
When did this?
Oh my god.
When did this Echo director love affair happen?
It's not a love affair. I just
Yes, it is.
11.
Shipping everyone.
Hard to tell.
Shipping
And as you watch, as like Mari goes over, there is a point where she looks at you, Spice, and she goes, "While you guys are gone, do you mind if I look around a little bit? This is
Sure, my home is your home.
Yes, we mind.
She
Yeah, I
turns
got
and she looks at you.
things and stuff, especially under my
I
bed.
won't touch any of your stuff. I just want to look at the systems.
Please
We
do
have a
not.
printer. We have this like bot that can print parts if you want to print some parts and shit.
Mari, Echo will give you like the world's best tour if you just don't while we're gone.
Do
But
you want to see the engineering room?
No.
She says yes at the same time. She's like, yes, no, and look at the same exact time. And she turns and she says, "Look, I'm not going to do anything to your ship, but
Mari,
this is
you're a guest in our home.
yes."
She's my family.
But can you show her when we get back? We don't
I mean,
understand
yeah.
it. What if Mari finds out some deep dark secret?
Then she'll tell us.
Will you?
I mean, don't you want to know if there's a deep? Why would there be a deep dark secret?
We
Well,
would
I don't
be
know. Sometimes
violating
I
the
think about,
director's
like-
trust.
Ghosts and stuff, and like when people die and like they're left
Little
places, and you know.
She looks at you, Spice, and you can get the sense that she is now beginning to question the story that you told her about how you got this.
Oh, I love this.
You know, so if like ghosts were there, like I would just want to meet the ghosts first, right? Because then we have to live with the ghosts. But if you make like such a
Mari,
good
let's just go to the
impression,
engineering room.
Don't worry, we got the protons
No.
there. We can get them
You grab, yeah, you do. You grab Mari by the shoulders and just like take them away into the engineering.
No.
can I get underfoot and
Yeah.
look at Echo looking for help?
Yeah,
Trying
you
to like.
wrap around Mari's legs.
I
She's
wrap
not gonna-
around Spice's legs mostly, realizing Spice is the like. Spice!
And Mari's just gonna go, "Look, I don't need to."
Spice!
Now let's
And
have
I
that
like
project
scramble up
out.
and I hold you by your shoulders, like nose to your chin, being like, Spice.
We can all talk. We're all here.
Okay.
I'm literally right
You're,
next to you.
I'm talking, I'm talking,
small
but I
ship.
don't think you're listening. So, okay, what if we waited?
Waited for what?
Waited for us to get
For us to
back.
complete the
She's gonna be
mission.
in this ship anyway.
Yes, and she can touch all the things on the outside.
You're gonna make her wait outside the ship?
No, she can touch all the outside.
What?
On the outside of the inside, but don't open up the grates or like open up this microwave or open up the like
Mari.
things. I don't know.
You are welcome to relax in the med bay. We have very comfortable mattresses available there. Unfortunately, we do not have guest quarters ready at the moment, so that is the best we can offer. You are able to log on to the infosphere, but please do not touch the systems until we have returned.
Well, I'm just waiting for you guys to get back. I'm not trying to stay here.
Where do you want to stay? You gonna return to Perdido?
That's a lot to process right now. I was in jail an hour ago or 6 hours
Okay.
ago, so
Well, here, and I go into my little medbay office, and I give her a whole ream of paper and a bunch of pencils and some coloring equipment, and I'm like, well, I got a printer. Here you go. All right, we should go.
My friends, yeah, we love you.
Oh.
She like puts more pens into Mari's arms.
There's paper in your medbay office, like the doctor paper.
There's reams of
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I've been looking
So
for
she's-
paper in this game
I
so
know, yeah.
long.
I
And she's-
took
I've been
them
using
from
the bag of Polaroids.
from the office building, the Chachawak Genetic
Yeah,
Solutions.
yeah.
You guys
I
took a whole
loaded
bunch.
up my
Like
guys.
staplers, there's so much
Staplers,
office stuff.
pens.
Oh my
I
God.
took all the pens and took
I
all
remember
the...
the staplers, but I didn't remember I've been looking for paper so long in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's
you
been a
guys have,
shortage.
I think you have at the moment 23 reams of paper. Because you
I
took a
don't-
whole
God,
box.
Bubs wants that so bad.
Yeah.
The
no,
food
you wouldn't know.
synthesizer is keyed to many of Spice's favorite snacks, as well as beverages.
We
Okay.
got some Lashunta liquor in the cabinet if you want some.
We shouldn't be gone for very long.
Also, you can
Or
go in the
we'll be gone
armory, but
forever.
it might
It
you might not want to.
stinks.
Indeed, I would
There's no
stay
space.
out of the armory.
Yeah, I'm just going to wait till you guys are back.
Sounds great. Your confusion makes me happy.
She like slowly goes back to like the communal area that you guys all share, the tables, the couches, and everything. And she's like holding many things. Like every now and then you hear ting 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 as she drops a pen or a pencil, but she goes back.
Bye, love you. It won't be too long. I swear.
During all of this,
Yes.
I'm locking the engineering bay.
No
I
problem.
don't want
Dope.
anyone going into my shit.
You lock it down.
Bubs will just be with Shade and watch him lock it and like, oh yeah, cool.
I crawl into the cockpit and
Okay.
I sit in the shotgun
Okay. You sit in the shotgun.
Of what ship?
of the cockpit
The small
of
one or the
the
big
small
one?
one. Yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll. Like I've done what I needed to do to feel like I'm good at this.
I've been ready, so once
So Gibbs and
once
Shade,
all the
both
shit was
both
ready.
in the Stargazer shuttle.
Hey, that went pretty well with the ruby eyes. How are you feeling about that? Like on a scale from 1 to 26.
We didn't die.
Okay, so that's like at least a 10.
We haven't succeeded in our mission yet.
But we've got backup coming. We've got people helping us. We've got major distractions going on.
At this moment, your comms begin to go off, and you can actually see Tuesday.
Beep beep. Hi Tuesday.
You answer the comms, and it's actually Donut who's there, and you actually see like Tuesday's hand, so they're like holding the comm up and talking on it, and Donut just goes, "The boss says we need to go, so are you ready?"
Yes, everything just takes longer than we think it's gonna take. Thank you so much. We'll be right there in like soon.
About to take off.
Bubs is gonna get in the ship while they're talking.
Good. You guys all board the ship, and he, as he's doing this, he says, "We are going to initiate this as you draw close, so please let us know when you are within 100 yards of this tower.
All right, Project Popcorn is a go.
Do not die."
You-
Goes off.
Love you.
Why is it called popcorn?
I don't know. Because I'm
It-
hungry.
It is best if we ping them without sending a real message in case they are intercepting transmissions.
Agreed.
How do I do that?
Don't.
You call and then hang up.
I call Donut. If I call and hang up, will you understand that means that I'm within 100 feet?
I will now,
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
but and just hang
Love you.
We need to discuss proper communicator etiquette and waiting till people are done with their sentences.
Oh, you know, sometimes I just feel like I'm gonna run a.
Shade like turns to the shuttle, turned on, and is beginning to pull away.
I just roll like a higher initiative than people, and I always seem to like talk first, you know.
You lift away and out of the cave. Instantly, Shade, you can feel the wind hits and buffets this hard. This is a strong storm, and it's difficult to see. However, you have all of the tools of this ship available to you. You have relatively short-range sensors, but you can still get a sense of the ground beneath you and the sky around you enough that you're not worried about colliding with anything yet.
Bubs is just gonna take Spice's hand and just rotate her thumb around hers. We're getting ready. Kind of nervous, but
No problem.
keeping low, I would go towards the location of the landing platform, the private landing platform.
Okay.
And then when we get within 300 feet, I would announce that, and then subsequently every 50 feet after that until we get to 150 feet.
And there's no like the piloting things and like the starships combat-y things don't occur here, so like my Mystic Haze isn't a skill I can use in this.
We'll have to see if
Okay.
you guys get into Starship
Okay.
combat.
Oh, jeez.
So,
Which would be bad if we did, because
Yeah,
we
keep
have
that under
no
your hat.
way.
Wait, we
You
are
need that.
set up for
Take
that, Joe.
off. You begin to take off through this sandstorm, and as you do, please make a piloting check, Shade. This first piloting check is for you to navigate across the open expanse of desert without any of these huge gusts of wind
Is it
doing
a
anything to
two-seater?
the ship. It is a 4-seater, and Gibbs is kind of sprawled out across all of you. Is there anything that anybody wants to do to help Shade at this moment?
Yeah, so Spice is going to sit because she is very used to sitting in a 2-seater fighter. So she like instinctively goes into the right hand side and like something glazes over in her and she just kind of like perks up a little bit and she's like saying all this stuff about flying that Olive doesn't know as her help action.
Okay. So as you begin to like get ready and everything, Spice begins to talk about like pre-flight routines, making sure that you have everything done. You're going into sand. Have you made sure that the exhaust manifolds are clear before you take off? Like all these different
All
things.
of these things are subsequently being checked off of the list that I have up anyway.
And she's like flipping
It's
like stuff like
bing,
check,
bing,
check.
bing,
Yeah.
bing, as they're going through.
It's perfect.
For the seatbelts? No.
that
No
was
seatbelts.
35
Which is that?
for the piloting.
35?
35.
So good.
Fantastic.
Oh, nice.
So no problem. You take off and you fly across the desert. It is probably about 10 in the morning. And as you draw a little bit closer through the sandstorm that almost blinds you, you do see little bursts in the air. And you would imagine there are battles that are happening around this place.
Battles.
You
I was
get
hoping you were
closer.
gonna say fireworks.
And you get closer.
I think they're fireworks.
Shade.
I'm an
You
optimist.
draw within 350 feet of this place. You know you are roughly above Warmonger Industries, probably at this moment. You can hear the sound of like loudspeakers and things being yelled over the sound of all the sand below. And in front of you, you can see every now and then the appearance of what looks like laser fire just out and into the sand and sky. There are fighters that are happening around. You don't see any of them. But what you do get the sense of is as you begin to drift towards the north side of this tower, there is a place where there should be laser fire coming from, and there's not. It is equally coming off all the other sides. And you remember Socrates had said there was a place where they were taken away. And you point the ship and begin to move in that direction.
I will say.
As you draw closer, you let people know.
I call and hang up with
Okay.
Echo's like military a secret code thing.
You call, you hang up.
I call again. I hang up again.
Sure. A couple seconds goes by, and then suddenly the entire ship shakes. And you hear a couple seconds after that this echo of an explosion off into the west from this tower. You remember Ranklin saying that they were going to have a great time, and you'd imagine Ranklin involved in this particular part.
Once having a good time.
Suddenly, the laser fire shifts, and you can tell there is certainly a fight happening amongst the sand, and all this battle is beginning to trace away into the west. You have a chance now to swoop in. Make a piloting check, please, as you are going to land blind on this platform.
Oh, bro. I can see that from here.
That's still not bad. It's a 19.
A
It's
19?
pretty bad for me.
You have plus 17.
Wait, but you're helping
Yeah, I'm
with
also
landing
helping.
procedures.
Yeah.
You're helping with landing procedures
Yeah,
now.
yeah. She's like
Okay.
landing gears
Yeah.
are solid and
Be
shit.
sure to fasten your seatbelts.
That would be
she
what Bob
turns on
says.
her like
With a +2, it's still relatively low. However, it is enough. So that you are not plowing your ship into the
Nice.
sand. You are not going to plow it in to begin with, but you are going to land in a rough spot. Instead, you key in the ship and Spice, you, with the GPF knowledge that you have, you know the way that people would normally land is not how you should do this. The transponder is going to be exactly 100 feet back from where the actual landing pad is. So if Shade tries to land, he's probably landing on the house or in the stairs. You tell him this, and Shade, if you like drift back a couple 100 feet and then forward and begin to set down, you can see the silver of this landing platform beneath you. A little forward so that way you don't land on the actual refueling platform. And you can also see off in the distance through the sand. And here, as you like puncture through this dome, there is sand going over and striking it, but there is just perfect clear air here. There is a beautiful... Would you guys like a visual around?
Yay!
Even though we're going to end before this combat.
Mari's not with us, it's just
Well,
us.
we've got
Yeah.
like 20 minutes of RP
Bubs,
shit we
Bubs
can
is
do.
ready to go. He's got his jetpack. He's got his hammer.
These are NPCs for Joe. Thanks.
How exciting!
We'll go down
Oh,
next.
look, it's so
I love
beautiful!
this, especially the trees.
Wow, what
wow.
an oasis!
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh my
We're good. We're good. We're
goodness!
good. We're good. Slight turbulence.
Does someone want to grab our little...
Oh yeah, if you want to grab the purple ship, and you can set it down anywhere that is touching the landing platform. So let me go ahead and I'll pull up our close-up camera right here. You can see this is the luxury, once a landing pad, now very much a terrace, of the Governor Sitsu, your current bounty. And you can see beautiful grass, and actually I would say, Spice, you recognize this exact grass was torn up from Eason.
Oh.
This is very much all of the same environmental systems. And in fact, I would say, Spice, you can tell this was just stolen and directly transplanted here. You see the same grass, similar flowers, these beautiful cherry blossom trees, different. That is something that was certainly imported. You can see worked Perdido sandstone that has formed bricks to create this elaborate walkway. And then beyond that, you can see what looks almost like a mansion that has been constructed on the very top of this entire GPF
What is the
base.
mansion look like?
This is all very similar kind of stone, although you can see the door is a little open. It is white, beautiful marble. There are statues, there are chandeliers. It is gorgeous within, but the door is shut, and you do see there are quite a few GPF soldiers, and they begin to turn towards you. And because it is 907...
Joe, did you make these? Like, these
Yeah,
things?
yeah,
These
yeah.
are so good. This map is beautiful.
Because it's 907.
As it is 907, this is where we're going to end for this evening. So thank you for joining us for this session of Mosaic Team 5. When we come back next week, Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Oh, sorry, here you go.
Someone wants to see it.
Oh, here's the ship. Here, I'll pull up the close-up cam. There you go. That is the Stargazer shuttle.
Yeah,
and all the other
pictures on
shit.
our Instagram.
Oh, I love that guy's name, Dabber Raccoon.
Yeah, that's a cool name. I saw
love
that.
that.
Dabber Raccoon, thank you for joining
And
us.
Dan Diz for
And
joining us
Dan
for the
Diz
first
as well.
time.
All you guys for
Come on,
joining
Dan.
us for the
Come on,
first
Dan.
night. Next week at
the
Thursday,
comments.
6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back for session 47, where we begin in earnest the assault on Outpost Perdido. But until then, if you can't wait, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be right back with D&D 5th Edition, the 11th session, I believe, of our 5th Edition campaign, Courts of Everest,
Where everything is great and no one is dumb.
No one makes bad choices.
where we come back to the Temple of She Whose Tears Drown the Stars, where everything is going great.
So good.
It's going swimmingly.
Oh, I like that. But if you can't, we'll see you next week. Please stay safe. It is crazy out there. Good night.
See you
Good night.
soon, boyfriend.
Pew, 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 pew.